Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Survivor's Corner podcast. I'm Kirk.
And I'm Jetwire. And today we have 4 amazing guests with us. Please welcome Atheenon.
Hey, everybody.
Hadrian.
Hello.
Tomasina.
Hello.
And Zaknafein.
Hello, fellow survivors.
And hello, chat. We have a lot of you today.
First off, I wanted to say thank you to all 4 of you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to come and do this silly little get-together for you guys. I believe Hadrian said earlier that this is the first time you guys have been together on a voice chat, which I thought was quite interesting.
Yes, it's quite a pleasure to be here.
Scheduling was rough.
Yeah. It's always getting us all together. That's always the tough part.
So we managed to pull off a bit of a miracle here and get the 4 horsemen of the Quiet Apocalypse on with us today. So, Jetwire, let's start with you. Let's get our first question out the door. We've got a lot of people that have a lot of things to share.
Sorry, Toasty was distracting me in chat.
Yeah, me too. I'm reading chat, just like, oh god, nope. Keep it inside.
Yep. Right. Zach.
3 seconds in, we're off the rails. Great job.
Yes,
good job,
amazing.
So Toasty Bits in chat asked, so which one of you has played Black Frost? And Zaknafein said, play tested Long Dark 3 already.
Yeah, they're about 3 years in, of the 40 to 400 years in that one.
Raphael's got some explaining to do.
Starting rumors already.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So you 4 did all playtest for Misery, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
In a minor way, I did.
In a minor way.
Well, I actually had pneumonia for like a week or so of the playtest time, which kind of put me down, so I couldn't do a whole lot.
Oh, wow.
You were still there.
I was still
At the
there,
very
but
least, you were there in spirit.
Yeah.
I was there 3,000 years ago.
My interloper didn't exist.
Yeah.
But no, it was a tremendous honor for all 4 of us. Like I think, if I recall correctly, it was pretty spontaneous. It wasn't like a chain reaction of like 1 or 2 of us getting contacted, unless someone here has a different story, which would be a fun way to answer this question. But like, Raphael kind of reached out, and like all 4 of us, were like asked about that, and it just sort of spiraled from there.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, if I remember right, Rapid said, like, I've talked to 3 other people, and like, you guys are it. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. And you and me were in DMs just like, who? It can only be.
Immediately
Like,
guessed.
wait.
It was immediate though, but I was instantly right. I was like, it's gonna be Zach, it's gonna be Ath, it's gonna be Hadrian. That was my immediate.
You immediately
and then I was
knew.
right.
Yeah, I was like, if Tomasina isn't one of these 4, then I'm not in. I think I was invited the same way, but I just happened to reach out to him before because I was talking to him about something else. And then he said, yeah, great to hear from you. Before I say anything else, I've been working on this thing, if you're interested, and then it came from there. So I think I was already part of the 4, but I just beat him to it for the communication. Yeah, and I dug up the email here, and he starts the thing with saying hello, my friends, to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
A very, very humbling experience that was. I think I speak for all of us there.
Yeah, it was. It was a very humbling experience.
Yeah, that was great.
I think Zach, you had just mentioned something about, or Ath, like playtesting Winter's Embrace and Darkwalker, or having like early access to that. I was just like not on the scene yet. I had just started playing the game, I think, when Winter's Embrace came out. And so I had no idea that there was even any kind of precedent for like letting streamers have early access and playtesting and stuff. So when this happened, it was like, oh, okay, let's go. Like, it was just a totally new concept that anybody would give me the key to the city for. So
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah, I felt very honored by the whole thing for sure. It was even though like I said, I didn't get as much of a chance to play test it as some of you. I really appreciated them sending those copies to us and letting us mess around with it and get into the world and find some hilarious bugs and kind of give them a little bit of feedback on stuff. It was quite a good experience with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was really fun. I didn't play this Winter's Embrace, by the way, because that was like 2019. I think I had 200 subscribers at that point. So no, but this was great. We also interacted a lot with Katie. I think she was actually the main contact, and Raph was kind of like piggybacking on the communication and hopping in here and there. And she was very nice. She was a great person, I think.
Yeah.
All right, Archimedes has got a really good question to start this off. So he says, okay, Zach is the responsible person for sprain damage.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
Let's go around and get one from each of you persons that we can lay blame for. So does anybody else on this panel get some guilt blame here?
I will say,
have two.
That was.
I know what they are for
main,
Hadrian too, probably.
I remember one of the main things I said in my feedback email was, okay, this feels targeted.
All right, so let's go. We'll go around the horn here. So Atheenon, are you guilty of this?
As far as I know, I'm not. No, I don't want to stand out and be like I didn't do nothing wrong. But like I said, I didn't get as much of a chance to play test and give them as much feedback. I mainly gave them more feedback on bugs that I found with certain things that were not working properly in the game. Didn't really give them feedback that caused anything bad to happen though. So my hands are clean.
All right, now Hadrian.
So I can point to two, and one might help Archimedes blame Zach a little bit less because it relates to sprain damage. But neither of these come from the actual test period. These are just pieces of feedback that were implemented after I mentioned them. It could be that other people, shared stuff as well. So it's my headcanon that this is direct blame for me, but there might have also been others. So the first one is a long, long time ago when you were just in the interface, which they're still ordered in this way now, but for a couple of years, I think, the harvest button was above the repair button when you would just look at any gear item. And I remember talking to Raphael at one point. I don't remember if it was a tweet or a DM or something, but I was like, dude, can we just flip that? Or maybe it was a post, but there was just this feeling of I feel like that would just reduce anxiety for so many players. That's one thing. The second is, speaking of sprains, if you look really closely at the little hill icon that pops up when you're in danger of sprain damage, there's a little spot near the center where it's not like a perfect slope in the same direction. And that's because originally that thing, and some of you might remember this, originally that thing had a little blinking exclamation mark when it was added. And I remember for some reason just getting really, really ornery about that in particular, and adding Raphael on Twitter and being like, that is the most anxiety inducing thing I've ever seen. Can we just remove that thing? And he was like, are you serious? Okay. And then it was gone. So those are mine.
Okay, Tommy.
I looked back through my notes, and here's a funny little asterisk to put on this, which maybe we can talk about more later. But I sort of haven't touched Misery so much since playtesting it. I think during the playtest I made it up 30 days, and so all of my notes, I have all my notes from playtesting, and most of the names of the afflictions are different now from what we played. So I have something called Frigid Bones. I don't know if that's what it's still called, whichever one of the afflictions, but it's the one that reduces cold tolerance, and warming up just takes longer. But that was the one that I wrote, I put in a note saying I feel targeted, because even the warm up bonus from Tease, which is such a backbone of my playstyle, I have all of those little 10 to 15 calorie partially drank teas in my inventory. And if you have like 65 of them, you know, you can guzzle them all at once and get, you know, maybe half of your temperature back. And this being so far reduced, I was like, this is so disruptive. And I felt so targeted by that.
All right, Zach, you want to explain your sprain?
Well, yeah, there are other ones that I did, but I don't remember all of them anymore. But yeah, before the show started, I just tell everyone listening that I looked up my report. I haven't actually read all of it because I didn't have time, but I wrote a 5-page report that I sent to them. And the gist of what I said is basically like, look, I need to know, do you guys want the player to die, or do you want it to be like really, really hard? Because there's a big difference, and it's actually, you know, and I even have a sentence there saying like, in this current state, I'm pretty sure people like Bash Rope, Deadpool, Slit Home, Once and Only Chemiota, Acidic Fire, Big Fish, and others will just breeze through this crap, you know. that's what I said. And then I written that I said, if your plan is that the player has to die, here's how you can do it. And then I have a long list of things they can do. And I think only they, like, for example, remove fishing huts. Coal shouldn't respawn. You can't grab torches. Have only one hammer in the world, that sort of thing. But the two that they... I think it might be 3 they implemented. It says here that actually birch tea worked, but then I said you should remove that, which that doesn't work. The 2 that they did implement was sprains, because it says, I said you should make it so that when you take a sprain, you should take 1% damage, and I think they changed it to 2%. So that was it. And then I written that when sour stomach kicks in, make it so that intestinal parasite risk and food poison risk is increased, even though you have level 5 cooking, which is basically what they did. So that you even though you have level 5 cooking, there's still a base chance that you can get food poisoning. So there's a risk always, unless the item is above a certain percentage. So yeah, so they obviously looked at this like, yeah, we don't want the player to die, but we'll make them almost dead. So let's pick out some of these. So apparently that's what I suggested, but I hesitate for long not to take any credit for it because I didn't know what you others had said. So I thought maybe all of us suggested these things. I don't know.
So it's like the Princess Bride. You've been nearly dead all day.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was very important. I wanted to know, do you plan the player to die? The reason I asked that is because there's an interview with Raph from like 2013 or something where he says the point of the Long Dark is the player is going to die. So I wanted to know, like, is that the point, or is it just meant to be really, really hard? Because then that completely depends on the feedback. So then I basically had to say, if this, then that. If not, then this. And then I think they just decided that, you know, we'll pick the ones that we want.
It's interesting too, because like back to your point about players who were just going to be able to breeze through misery, right? Like when you say something like that to gamers, it's just like there is this gene that we all share, maybe to varying degrees. That's just like challenge accepted. Like, okay. And so even if they designed it exactly in the most punishing way possible, there would still be the Chemiotas of the world that would just be running around finding ways around it.
Oh yeah. Well, and even Dark has lived for over 1,000 days in misery and basically quit because he got bored. I think for me, the main problem I had with misery is, number one, the player base for it's going to be small, but number two, it's not my style of play is kind of fast and loose, and I like to kind of wander around, take chances, see if I can recover from them, take some damage, hopefully get it back, you know, kind of live on the edge. With misery, you have to play very, very, very conservatively and not do certain things at all, because any health you lose, every increment of health you lose is just, it's almost gone forever. And once you get broken body, there's a couple ways to get food, you know, with some food stuff to get health back, but it's going to be rough. It's not going to be something most people can even, you know, do. So
and Dog agrees.
And I found more than anything, I just got kind of bored with misery. It's just like, okay, well, I don't. I don't really care. You know, and it's an interesting gameplay, but we kind of already had that with people doing the no one gets out alive. You know, that, you know, the
Right.
Noga and stuff like that. That was already sort of already in the game. People were just doing it custom, and this was and that's what I kind of look at it as. I really liked. I think the thing I really loved about Misery, and I wish they'd bring him to regular Long Dark, is the afflictions. I think they'd be cool to add those to Long Dark and have some way to cure them as well. Like there would be certain conditions that you would meet to trigger them, kind of like with vitamin C deficiency, but there'd also be certain things you could do to either heal them or prevent them from actually triggering, which I think would be kind of cool.
Right.
Except for Broken Body, that one sucks.
That one sucks. One of my suggestions, I remember suggesting that the afflictions be available to turn on as just a function in custom runs. So like it'd be fun to take a stalker base and implement the afflictions. And what was the other thing? I remember also saying that once Broken Body set in, you mentioned Nogoa, but I kind of mentioned that too. I was like, I think this is sort of I think it's nice to have kind of a nice little branded packaged version of kind of what players have been doing creatively on their own, as well as this, once that condition isn't recoverable, it's actually kind of more brutal than the way we've all been playing Nogoa. You lose Birch Bark and stim health. And I remember I immediately tested this too. As soon as I got there, I was like, okay, I need to know if the recipes work. I need to know if the peach pies and stuff. And then they did. So I was like, okay, you do have that option, but those are also a super finite resource. So yeah, I don't know. I liked appealing a little bit to that base that just loves a super brutal, almost insurmountable challenge.
Yeah.
Time for one more comment on Misery before we move on. So, my headcanon for this, and just for the conspiracy theorists out there, this is pure conjecture. I have absolutely nothing to back this up. At the very least, I have nothing that I can remember to back this up. So if I got this in any way from anyone that I know, I've forgotten. But like, given the way that game development tends to kind of work this way nowadays in so many different, I've seen it across the board, like at independent studios, AAA studios, like I see those afflictions and I know for a fact that they've toyed with the idea of psychological states in the Long Dark for a long time, and they are going to be in Black Frost.
Yeah.
And so when you see what they were kind of doing with Misery, there's a part of me that's going, this is data collection. This is them as a studio experimenting with what it looks like to have different kinds of modifiers on the player that just are outside the bounds of what they've done in the past in their existing successful, very widely played sandbox mode. I don't know if that's true, but that's my headcanon.
Well, to piggyback off that, Hadrian, I've been saying for a while that a lot of the stuff we're seeing added to the Long Dark right now, a lot of that is stuff that they're just kind of playtesting to see how it would work, like the trader, some of the new recipes, all that. I think a lot of the stuff that we've seen from Tales forward, a lot of those we're going to see variations of in Black Frost, because they're kind of refining them as they go and going, okay, well, this worked, this didn't work. How could we make this better? So I think we'll probably see quite a few of those things also, in addition to, like you said, with the afflictions, sort of like transferred over into the new game, probably with a little bit of modification, but in similar type fashion, basically.
Yeah, I don't think so. I have another comment on the Misery, actually. I was just looking at the notes and that. Because
Go for it.
It says here that I suggested that the Cougar is mandatory in Misery. Because
Which one? Version 1.0 or version 2? You have to make the 1.0 Cougar.
Yeah.
it's 1.0, but recall at this time we hadn't tried the Cougar yet, so because we were given access after the playtest.
Yep.
So, but the
Yes.
idea
That's a fun
with
side
the-
story.
Yeah, that's a whole kind of worms, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Believe me, that's a horrible
We'll
stuff.
get there.
The idea was like, I just felt like when I played Mystery, it was very cool. I really liked it, but it's not going to supplant the Interloper because of the health regeneration and all that stuff. But there will be some people who just ace this, that no matter how hard you make it. But one thing that I thought was that it's just going to end up a fishing simulator. that's what's going to happen.
Mhm.
Right? But
Yep.
if you make it so you can't turn off the cougar, then that won't work, because then they'll just attack you in the fishing hut, right?
Randomly.
So that's
Out of
something.
nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. The stand. I've been fishing here for 20 days. Also, I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure they actually made it so that the afflictions are further spread out. Here it says that I'm on day 36 and I got the last affliction. I think when we tested that the span was shorter.
Yeah,
Now it's like
it
day
was.
46, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they changed that.
Yep.
That was one of, like, I think I didn't get a chance to submit as much like detailed feedback on Misery as I would have wanted, but that was one thing that I remember kind of front loading in my feedback, is that it comes on really fast, especially for players that are used to moving. It's just like, wow, like before you know it, there's this next thing, and I'm not sure that was intentional, but
I think. Yeah.
You
Sorry.
think maybe the timeline was compressed for playtesting, possibly?
No, they said it was. I think initially it was random, wasn't it? It was like between
Oh, wow.
X amount of days.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
now
Cool.
it's static. It's like exactly day so and so happens. But before it was like I can't remember the exact spread. Maybe you guys remember.
Yeah, I think the first affliction was like anywhere from like 3 to 7 days, or it just they came on rather randomly, and you never knew which one you were going to get, and so it was like, okay, well, what am I going to get, and when is it going to hit me? Which I thought was kind of, it's better to have that variable just because it keeps people interested. I've always said, for me, like you were saying, Zach, I don't think it'll ever supplant, Interloper. I've always sort of held to the fact that, and that's one thing I actually asked them, is are you intending this to be a gameplay mode, or are you intending this to be a challenge mode? And I really wish they had done it as a challenge instead, sort of like As the Dead Sleep. I think it would have been a little more
interesting.
They could even given us badges for it, like for living for 50 days or 100 days, like little badges to encourage people to play it in the challenge mode. My biggest gripe with Misery overall is that the small percentage of Long Dark players that play Interloper, there's even going to be a smaller percentage that play Misery. And who is it really catering to? To me, it didn't really cater to the overall Long Dark fan base, but it's a decision they made, and it's totally cool. You don't have to do it if you don't want to.
Yeah. That actually leads to my next question, honestly. So is there something else you guys think might have been better for them to do other than Misery? Like, is there another game mode you would have liked to see?
I hear the creaking hinges of Pandora's box opening.
Yes.
In a world where we had a game mode between Survivor and Interloper.
Thank you, Atheenon, for the movie voice.
Yep.
Yeah, it would have been great if they had done something between the two. I mean, we've needed that for years. That's the most commonly asked thing I have in chat, is people who are tired of playing Stalker because they find it too easy, but they don't want to play Interloper because they miss having a tool, or they miss having a weapon, or they
still die really quickly. Yeah.
Or they basically can't get past 5 or 6 days in Interloper, and they just get frustrated and just stop playing. And they're tired of playing Stalker, and they may play a custom game, and I always offer that as an option, but a lot of them don't have all of their feats yet, which I still don't understand why they don't let people get feats in custom modes. It's like, you can get them in Pilgrim. How could you make a custom mode that's easier than Pilgrim, for God's sake?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to happen. So yeah, I wish they had done something between Stalker and Interloper. That's the bottom line.
It's so interesting because I wouldn't have framed my answer that way, but in so ways my answer is the same, because what I've said for years, and actually as far as I know, it hasn't been confirmed that this exact thing was what Raphael was talking about, but one of the things he mentioned as coming like as soon as possible, just hit my mic, as soon as possible after the episode 5 release, was there would be more custom options. He didn't say what they would be, but like more detailed custom options. And one of the things that I just wished they would have in the game for a long time, as someone who mainly plays custom on and off YouTube, is let's have an ability to have Interloper level loot, like really, really sparse loot tables, but leave the freaking tools in. Like, can we just have the ability to still find knives? Maybe they're not as common. Maybe they're harder to find, but they're still there. But the only way right now that you can get interloper level loot tables also involves, for those of you who don't know this, turning off the OG tools. You have to then go and obviously everyone knows you have to make the tools, but the tools literally are not findable at all. It's tied to that setting, and that has never been separated out. And if they would do that, that's my thing. It's like I've waited for years. It's not so much a game mode, but like once those additional custom settings are in, I will be a very, very happy Hadrian.
Well, Hadrian, could you imagine a world where you went into your menu and you could actually literally set for high, medium, low, or non-existent for every tool, item, piece of clothing, every single thing in the game? You could be like, I want one hammer in the entire game, and I have to go find it now.
They might do that when they improve mod settings.
Yep.
I have always wanted to see. There was a brief period of time right after Forsaken Airfield, I think, was released, where there were a very small number of spots where if you just got lucky and you played on just a vanilla interloper setting, you could get a revolver and like 10 bullets. It was totally awesome. Unintended, but it was such a beautiful period of time to where I was like, I want woven into interloper the, roll between 1 and 100, whether I have this single spawn of one single revolver with 10 bullets. Like, let me find this ultra rare shiny thing, make it insanely unlikely. But then when it happens, there's just this huge dopamine rush, and it's like, I have 10 bullets to work with, whatever. But like, the one revolver could and make it so rare that overall you are always prepared to never have it. Make it something I can't count on ever, so that when it does show up, it's super fun.
See, I think that would have been a nice
HRV.
Yeah, this would have been an interesting add-on for the Tales, for the very last part in the Omega, where they had the gun battle. You find a gun, you find a revolver.
Yeah.
Well,
it would have been a good way to add it to Interloper there. It would have made sense. So you would have found this revolver and maybe a few rounds.
Yeah.
I think the cool thing about finding that revolver, Tomasina, was that when you found it, you also realized that there were no cleaning kits in the entire world.
Right.
The only place you could ever repair it or make more ammo for it was in Bleak Inlet or in Black Rock, both of which came with their own problems.
Yup.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool, though. Yeah, a rare gun. In terms of what I think, like what they could have done, I guess the question is like, what could they have done instead? I don't know, other than Hunted 3, I guess.
I don't
have any thoughts. So I think they should add, like Tomasina's recovery challenge or something like that. So, spawn 5% health, Blizzard at night, you can only drink 5 milliliters of water, ptarmigans can only be nuked, Aurora Rabbit spawn, do triple damage, Darkwalkers run at night. That sounds like something Tomasina would survive, probably. So, yeah.
That actually reminds me, Zach, one other thing I wish that they would change is, and this is so selfish, and I'm sorry to everyone for saying it out loud, but it's been my dream that the salt in the game be Hadrian branded. If there was just a Reef logo on the side of the salt, it's like, yes, that would be perfectly fitting.
I would love to see a world where the tomato soup has "Fight Angry Tomato" emote on it. That's all I want. I mean, I think there even is an IRL brand of like Tomasino's tomato soup or something. Like, what if it could be me?
Yeah, and then you need a new tea brand called Atheenon. Right to the snacks is another one.
That's an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah,
someone, I don't remember who it was. It was either someone in Atheenon's community or my community suggested Hadrian's beef jerky, and I was like, "Why the beef jerky?" But okay, like I'll take it if they do it. I'm not gonna complain.
It would be funny if there were like tokens to players around the world of Ned, and you have to go into when you go into a cave, you find a campfire with like 10 teas around it, Like, hey, who's been here? You know.
I have no idea who that would be.
Yeah. It would be at least 20. Let's be honest.
No. The thing is, Zach,
sure,
you would have to find a man made out of sticks next to it.
Yes, with some pelts and stuff. You know, the stick family.
Yep.
Yes, I was sure. Larry's running around.
This sounds a lot like what we were talking. We were talking to Kai from the Long Development, and how we got on the subject. I have no idea. It was somebody was talking about it, and so we were leading into a conversation about donations for the development team by putting yellow patches of snow everywhere. And so you would make a donation, and you would get your own little yellow patch of snow, and that just led into a whole conversation on that interview a couple weeks ago.
Yep. So we have questions about Cougar 1.0.
Oh no!
You guys want to take that on, or
Sure?
So what was
my
the
favorite topic.
Yeah, what was the reaction to Cougar 1.0? I don't think you guys play tested it, right? No play testing for.
We briefly
There's a story there.
Yeah.
Go for it,
We had access. So
Okay.
we had access much later. I think the update was coming out in like less than a week by the time we had this. We were able to like install the test build. So we had very little time to really play with it and evaluate it. I think pretty much all of us had our opinions on it once we first touched it, and offered that to Hinterland, but we did not have it within our power to overhaul the design from the ground up.
Yeah.
No.
I did see. I mean, I'll just be the one to ram my head straight into it. I'm not one for subtlety. I saw a lot of like angry people on places like Reddit and the forums saying, "Oh, you know, Tomasina, Ath, Zach, Hadrian, they're shills because they just, you know, approved of this cougar and they didn't say anything to make it better." And I will say for me, on the one hand, I don't think I hated it nearly as much as a lot of people did. Mm-hmm. Similar to what I said about the revolver, like overall, I don't want Gunloper. I have no interest in Gunloper or guns being an interloper unless it's this insanely rare occurrence, you know. But with the Cougar, what I enjoyed about it was it being a sort of an unexpected event that you had to either be prepared for or just hope doesn't happen, or try to avoid. I did find myself wanting there to be an actual cougar mob that I could encounter in the environment, but I didn't feel like I didn't feel like it required this huge revamp. And yeah, I guess that's the one thing I'll say, like in all of our defense, is like we didn't put a seal of approval on like your own personal worst iteration of the cougar just to spite you. We didn't, you know, we got to maybe play with it. I spent a very long time doing what I do and what I think a lot of people did during the first, 1.0 iteration, which was I want to kill a cougar. So I'm going to stand outside and I'm going to wait until it jumps me and I'm going to take that opportunity to kill it, no matter what it costs me. And I had a good time doing that.
I watched those videos.
I just remember you yelling, "Why can't I kill you?" It's just like that's the one phrase that I associate with that face. But I have just to piggyback off of that, like thankfully I think since Cougar 2.0 came out, and I mean obviously there are still ways in which it could have been different or better, and like people still have opinions on it for sure, but like I think the pitchforks towards us that you mentioned have largely been put down, thankfully. I'm still happy to clear the air on this though, because like it's an understandable confusion for people to have, but we were contacted about testing misery mode. That is what they reached out to us about. And then when we were almost done with that, within just a few weeks of us not having access to the build anymore, like so very limited time frame, they were like, "Oh, BTW, we're also going to put the cougar in. You want to test that too? And of course, all of us are like, sure. But it was not the original request. We didn't have as much time with it. And as we all saw, 1.0 was controversial, to say the least, even though there are mixed opinions even amongst this group here. So like we did not really focus our feedback on the cougars. We focused our feedback on misery. So that's what we were asking.
To be honest, they were not really asking for our feedback on the cougar. They were more just like, here, you can play this, have fun with it, let us know what you think. And but I even asked them, is there any way you can change this? And they're like, no, it's already, this is how it is. They're like, this is how it is. It was gracious of them to give us early access to it, but I more look at it as an early access thing than actually a play
almost like a
test
gift.
thing. Yeah,
it was. It was like, thanks for helping us test misery.
Exactly. No. Thank you for testing misery. Here's a little early access on the cougar so you can have a look at it. Now, that being said, I didn't like Cougar 1.0, but I hate Cougar 2.0. Cougar 2.0 is glitchy, easy to manipulate with campfires, and then you just sit back and wait for him to do his little jitter dance and just shoot him till he's dead. It's not, there's no, other than running into him in a blizzard, when you have no way to make a fire and then he just jumps you and wrecks you, if you know where he is, that's no big deal. The other big problem I have with the cougar is, why magically do other cougars spawn on the map when you engage a cougar? I have no idea. And it sort of made the boom cans kind of inconsequential. The whole purpose behind those originally was that you could go find the cougar nest, destroy it, and then the cougar wouldn't be able to reactivate for a little while. It's like there was this whole plan in place, and people kind of seem to miss that a lot of times. And honestly, I've said it over and over again, I wish they hadn't knee-jerk reaction, just yanked it out of the game and gone, hey, this is the cougar we got. We're going to work on it. We're going to modify it. We're going to make it a little bit, a little less damage or a little easier to hit or whatever it was, but basically just leave it in the game, and you could always turn it off if you didn't want it. And then they could mess with it instead of just yanking it out and then giving us something completely different months later, which honestly I think is an inferior version of what we had.
Yeah.
So you're right.
I will also say I missed that score with original Cougar 1.0.
Yes.
It's not in the game anymore, and it was so good.
It is. I wrote a small report about it. I mostly, because when we got early access, I mostly focused on Sundered Pass, because we also got, I thought that was more interesting. But I wrote a small report, but mostly bugs, because there were quite a few bugs with it. And there was also one thing was like killing it with the bow was ridiculously hard. It was so hard.
I figured out what it was. It was just the aiming. It was like the hitbox was lower than it was visually. That's what I ended up discovering. It's just like if I aim really, really low. It
also took 5 minutes to draw the bow as well. So by the time you draw it, the cougar was in the next region. It's like that's how. But when it was released, I kind of liked it. Actually, I liked it as a concept, and also once we tried it, it was like, okay, now this definitely needs to be in mystery. But it is unfortunate that it janked it so quickly. I did a poll on my channel a little while back, and I think 80% said they had not tried the cougar. So because it was 30 days or something before it spawns, and they yanked it after 4 days. So most people then never even tried it. And I don't know, sometimes I think back and maybe I'm partially responsible because I made this cougar video on day one and a lot of people watched it. I think 100,000 views in like 2 days. And everyone's like, oh, this is terrible, So it could be that they looked at that and, oh, people don't like it. But they haven't tried it. Most people haven't actually encountered a cougar. So I think
you emphatically made that point at the time. I recall, like you made sure to get that across.
Yeah, I had to make sure that was said. And I think, I've said this before, so I'm not going to go into the details about it, but I think we should have Cougar 1.5, that there is a select few cougars around, like say 3 in the world. And if you spend too long in a region, it will migrate towards you. And then if you spend, and it will be physically in that region. But if you spend so long in that region, it then enters Cougar 1.0 mode, where it will just attack you randomly, something like that. So it's kind of like halfway in between. That will be, then you get like the intensity of the first one, where you're kind of like scared all the time, and you don't get same sort of like cheesiness to the second one. But I don't think, honestly, they'll change. I don't think we'll get a Cougar 3.0. I think they'll patch a couple of things, but I think this is practically the end result.
Yeah. Well, and the thing I didn't like with the Cougar as well is, for me as a Long Dark player for so long, it seemed, the whole jump scare Cougar just seemed so anti-Long Dark. It just, I always said, if they had even just given us, like, the music would intensify, we'd have a moment to look around, maybe take one shot at the Cougar as he was charging us. We could actually see him charge us instead of him just, boom, hey, you've been jump scared, you know. That just, to me, was just like, I have no interest in that. That's not, you know, there's nothing, just think of it this way. There's nothing like coming over a hill and a bear standing right on the other side. But you know what? At least you get to see that bear before he attacks you.
And we get a little bit of that with the Cougar as it is now. But I think I would agree that the sort of just not characteristic of a Cougar in any universe where all of a sudden there's a pack of them, you know, that will show up when one is killed. I would love to see, I feel like the simplest solution in my head would be, you know, if we don't really want to change it much from what it is now, I would say re-implement the Cougar dens and have them all have one central den to where, okay, whoopsie, I killed one, the others are ticked off. And so now I've got 3 Cougars in the region. Now I really need to go find the den, and that keeps them at bay for a little while, or reduces them back down to 1, or something, to where you can kind of correct the flub you made.
Yeah.
Well, the nice thing is, with the game kind of wrapping up, other than some DLCs coming out, the modding community is going to start doing a lot of stuff, and I can't wait to see what they come up with. And I think the Cougar is going to be something they focus on, because there's I'm sorry, the Cougar just sucks. Other than the items you get from it, yeah, they're nice. I mean, but can I live without the Cougar claw knife and the Cougar wrap? Yeah, I can. So if I don't want to, I don't need them. I mean, the Cougar wrap is not going to make a difference in Interloper, whether I freeze or not in Sundered Pass. It's going to be freaking negative 80 degrees out there almost every day. So I could have 20 Cougar wraps and it's not going to help. And the Cougar knife, yeah, it makes things a little bit faster when you harvest stuff, but all I need to do is harvest stuff. And half the time late in the game, all I'm doing is harvesting stuff with my hands, because guess what? You don't have to repair your hands. So... it's like, if I don't, it's one of those where if I don't have it, I don't really care. If I have it, hey, it's cool. It's sort of a flex, but I'm flexing for myself, I guess. So
yeah, I kill Cougars all the time.
Well, I've killed so many Cougars in my run that I'm doing right now. I've killed like probably 12 or so. I mean, they aren't that hard though. You just set up fires and you bait them in and then just stand by your fire and shoot at them. It's not
trap them with torches.
Yeah, trapping with torches. I saw that, Zach. You did that. It was crazy.
I think the scarcity of the Cougar, like, I think that's actually a credit to Cougar 1.0, because now if you can have 3 or 4 in every region, now that knife isn't so valuable, and the Cougar app isn't so valuable. When it was like 1 maybe per region that you could only kill after it almost killed you, then that becomes so much more precious. Like, I would just love to see, like, when I think of the moose hide satchel and the moose cloak, those I will protect with my life, just because sometimes I have so much trouble finding a goddamn moose.
Oh yeah.
Not having trouble killing them. I just gotta find them. Like that that level of value, I think was a win for 1.0.
Plus they took my badge away. I can't get that badge anymore.
Oh, the badge.
Yeah, they took it away.
Oh my God, they took that badge away. That I think that pissed me off more than anything about the Cougar, is that now there's an inaccessible feat that I can never have. It's like, oh.
Atheenon, would you like some Hadrian brand salt?
Yeah.
I need about a sack full of it. Yeah. I mean, it's bad enough that in the time lock thing, I lost all my badges and stuff in the first place and had to get them all back. And I never got back my original Halloween badges from 2018, I think it was, because those were just gone forever, and so I don't have those. But the badge leaves me salty with the Cougar. It does. I think they should have refined it. But
my first sort of video essay on my channel was my whole story of how I lost my cougar badge and my quest to get it back using time. Now you can't even do time capsule, but you can use Steam database stuff that Deadpool found out how to do, and a whole journey. And then I got it. If you haven't seen it, spoiler alert. But eventually, it's like, yes, I did all this stuff. When I even have a version of it, because I when there was all the rumble, I thought to myself, I better going to change it, so I'm going to save the game as it is now. So I have a copy of the game. Went back, did all this stuff. I got the badge, and then when you reset it to the current game again, badge goes away. You don't get it. It doesn't carry over. Even if you fiddle with the clock and all this stuff to fool the game thinking you got it during that period. But eventually I was like, you know what? I've done all this stuff. Dev console, activate badge. Okay, I have it now.
Yeah.
I don't use it. No, what's the point? Like, hey, here's the tutorial. We're going to use the big game cat badge that none of you have. Hey, this wolf can't see me. So it doesn't.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have any real function if you're a content creator other than like a gimmick. But it's a. But they said they're going to replace it with something, didn't they? They're going to replace it with something similar. Oh, I don't know.
Sure.
That's what they said in the dev diary. I think. I can't remember. At some point. Yeah. Oh dear.
It's in hurry up and wait mode.
Yeah.
Well, as most stuff with Hinterland is. I mean, it's always been that way though. Tales was that way. A lot of that stuff has been that way, and I always tell my audience, keep your expectations on timely releases low. It's not what Hinterland is known for, but on the positive, they've never screwed me on anything. I mean, I've always been happy with what we'd eventually got for the most part. I mean, I have my issues, of course. I think everybody has their own little pet peeves. I don't know who could have an issue with cabin fever, but I think somebody in the chat here has an issue with it. But
how dare you?
But hey, Hadrian, they now have that fancy feat you can take that never gives you cabin fever.
Hadrian's badge, that's what it's called.
Yeah, it's Hadrian's badge. Yep, that's what I think of it as. But that's the thing is Hinterland's always made me happy with what they've finally produced. And I mean, like with the newest update, I mean, the best thing I think that they've ever put in the game is the customization stuff. I think that's awesome. Being able to take pictures, rugs, furniture, all this stuff cool. and design your own buildings and clean stuff up for somebody like me. It's amazing. And it has nothing to do with survival. I mean, well, it sort of does with being able to make workbenches and stuff, but a lot of it has nothing to do with survival. It's just decorations, but it gives you such a cool satisfaction factor that you didn't get before. Because there'd be a crooked picture on the wall and you're like, oh, that's just driving me nuts. I want to fix it. And now you can.
Yeah, it's a great addition.
Yeah.
For sure. And they were smart to make it free because it wasn't supposed to be free. It was supposed to be in the DLC, and they decided against it, which was very smart.
Yeah, I think that was a good move on their part, giving it to everybody for sure. But I highly encourage anybody who plays Long Dark, go pick up Tales from Far Territory. It's definitely worth it.
It's really
absolutely worth it. Also, I'm pretty sure I told this same story, so I'll give an abbreviated version of it the last time I was here. But like, when you consider, for those of you who don't know this, like Tales of the Far Territory or Tales from the Far Territory was literally like conceived by survey of the player base from Hinterland saying, hey, how should we do this? You guys like have made our game so successful. What do you think? And they solicited community feedback and they gave us what we asked them for. So like how many times can you genuinely say that a DLC was released by a company where they're not like the first priority is not to, and obviously there's revenue related reasons that like any company would release DLC that are legitimate, but they put us first and thought, how do we need to make this so that y'all would actually like it? And they did it. And that's one of the reasons it's worth the purchase, because it's unlike any other DLC I think I've ever really seen it, or at least that I'm aware of. It was entirely based on community survey.
Let me shoehorn in very quickly. I remember I when I turned 40, Hinterland sent me 9 codes for the DLC, and I haven't streamed since. So if someone wants it, I'm hoping to do it soon. I'm only like 2 years late, but I still have the codes. So if someone needs it, I'll give it soon.
Once you're feeling better.
Yeah. Sure, yeah. But yeah, it's a great DLC, 100% worth it. I don't care even that it was like slowed down. They were going to do it in half the time, but then they took twice as long. Who cares? It was really, really good. And it was fun to be part of the development. It's 6 parts. So that was really fun. And the one we did, that was part 4, or was it 5? I think it was 4. Yeah, because it was 4, then it was a gap, and then Cougar 2.0 was 6. So it was part 4, I think, was what we did.
Yeah.
Quiet.
Very quiet.
Zach closes out there very well. Yeah, I would say my favorite part about Tales as well is that I like, and I hope this carries over to Black Frost, is I love the storytelling in Tales. The way that we can discover the story on our own time. It's not integral to anything we're doing, but it gives us something to do, which is what I've always wanted in Long Dark. Is I want things to do organically later in the game that I don't have to do if I don't want to, but they're there, sort of dangle that carrot out there for me and say, hey, if you want to check this out, it'd be really cool. Or, hey, you want to go check this out? That's one of the things I really enjoyed about episode 3 of Wintermute, is it had all those little danglies that you could go do these little side quests if you found books. And it just made that chapter my favorite chapter of Wintermute, because you got to actually survive in the game and play a chapter at the same time, which is what I really miss with episode 5, and that's probably one of my biggest complaints about it. But it just, chapter 3 was so well done in that way, because it had those little danglies that you could go and discover, and I can say dangly one more time, but I won't. So
I was really hoping you would.
But that's what I loved about Tales, is it has that storytelling element in there, and I think that, like, one of my big complaints about episode 5 is that all of the lore is dumped in like a 15-minute sit session and
20 minutes.
It was just, oh, I'm sorry, 20, yeah. It felt like half. I was trying to be like kind to it, not over exaggerate. So, but yeah, that's the thing, is like the storytelling in Tales is so well done, because you get these little snippets of what's going on. You find notes that sort of tell you what's happening. You find logs and books and stuff like that, where you kind of just, you gather the information as you're going. And you don't just have to sit through a struggle session with the game just telling you about everything.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that kind of storytelling, especially for a game like Long Dark, where you have that mystery of what the heck is going on, you know?
And
I think they've done that with episode 5.
I think they have a perfect opportunity to add more stories like that with Sutherland. So Sutherland can say, hey, I heard about this spot someplace in the world that, you know, might be able to help you or whatever, and it could lead you on another path to another story. So I think that Sutherland's going to be a big hitching post for a lot of future stories and tales.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I think that Tale works. Atheenon basically said it, but it works so well because of how it's spaced out in the survival mode. So even Single Void, which is by far the slowest, it requires you to go all these places to fix the antenna thingy, and then you got to find a bunker. It takes a while. I mean, you can spend 100 days doing Single Void, but that's part of the fun, though. It's part of the survival adventure, so it's integrated as a survival experience as opposed to the other way around, which is why it works so well. And then you got these notes, and you got to kind of work a little bit to put it together. And it's at some point, I don't think it's a spoiler at this point, but at some point I was like, I bet this Rudiger machine thing doesn't even exist. You know, I was like, oh wait, there it is. So, and everything they added also, it's a fantastic DLC. It's 10 out of 10.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and the new recipes, the new cooking stuff. Oh my gosh,
yes,
so good. I other than the game glitching and me making all 9 of the recipes and not giving me the achievement, not that I'm bitter about it, but it's really good. And I'm hoping once I get full max trader, I'll be able to get a recipe from him, and it'll finish the whole thing. We'll see. But the trader's my biggest thing. I'm not the favorite of. I haven't played around with him a lot yet, so I'm going to give him a chance. But I think more the trader was set up for Black Frost. I think the trader's something we will definitely see in a Black Frost type situation.
It seems like if the trader was and I haven't interacted with the trader very much at all, just to be clear, but like from the feedback that I've seen, it just seems like if he were contactable and if there was a drop box in any other location, if it wasn't just the one, I wonder how much that would impact, the overall like experience of the trader for folks, because that seems like that's really the literal choke point through which that, people's feelings for that particular feature flow.
I think for me, the biggest problem I have with the trader is the same problem I have with the overabundance of finding things on the shore with beachcombing, is that it adds so much extra resources to a game, which is kind of keyed around you running out of resources slowly but surely and never being able to get them back. And that to me just kind of makes the game easier overall, I guess.
I think that's why it was added for the like casual player to not panic that they ran out of matches. That sort of thing.
Oh, but
that actually speaks to. Sorry, go ahead, Atheenon.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, but gosh, remember when you had that last box of matches and you had like 3 in it? You're like, oh my god, do I light a fire now or do I not light a fire now? Okay, wait a second, can I get to a building and not die? I mean, that's part of the game that I particularly was drawn to. Is now that I've got so many hours in the game, I find matches not to be a problem anymore, especially with all the new zones that have matches in them. But back when the game was literally 6 zones and you had at most maybe, I don't know, 10, 12 boxes of matches or you'd find in those 6 zones, and who knows where you'd find them. That was scary. I mean, that was part of the draw, though. That was kind of like, what am I going to do if I don't find any?
Yeah, I agree with that.
What were you going to say, Hadrian?
Yeah, sorry.
I think some of what we're talking about, like, I think it segues really nicely. There's a question. I'm digging back into the lore of this very active streams chat to find this question. But there was a good question, like literally 30 minutes ago, that is connected to this. Green Spy with a funny name asks, "Do you think the game still has a late game boredom problem, especially given all this stuff that we've been talking about that's been added?" What do y'all think?
For me, I'd say no. I'm at 750 days now, and I'm just getting into Sundered Pass. Of course, I've been playing this run a little different, where I spent 50 days in every zone, but I don't think it really has that late game problem any longer. I mean, it can if you're just sitting in a zone doing nothing, but if you're getting out and exploring, mapping, doing the tails, getting max trader level, there's a lot of stuff you can do now. And the game is so large that if you really go in depth into a lot of the zones, you can spend 50, 60, 70 days in a zone and just kind of get, lost in it if you want to. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's really, I mean, back when there was only 6 zones in the game, it was real easy to get bored later on because you visited everything.
Yeah.
Now I can barely get to half the zones in like 200 days. So.
Yeah. And it can easily be just a matter of like how you're managing your time. So, if I say I'm gonna focus purely on survival for as long as I can, and then when that late game boredom does set in, now I'm gonna go for the tails. Now I'll start the tails and I'll complete those, and then now I'll go to the far territory and see what I can do there. Though I will say I might be slightly immune to boredom in this game now that I've sunk 20 and a half hours into just the Darkwalker mode in a single game. It became a chain of just.
How's that working out for you?
It's you know what? It's done. I've done it, and it's I don't have to walk into a house and spray once and then set a 15-minute timer and then walk outside, run a tiny bit, and do it again. There was a lot of that, but if anyone's wondering, that is really achievable.
So Tomasina, have you done the challenge where you do not spray paint at all except for the final?
I haven't. I came kind of close. I was trying to do some speed running, and
it's really honestly
hard. if you're really focusing on trying to get like, what did you ultimately do, Zach? Like an hour 30, hour 20?
Yeah, I did. World record was an hour 50, but then they finessed. I think it's an hour 25 or something now.
Yeah,
but that wasn't me. The other better people have improved upon it.
But what I was finding was if you're moving that fast, you don't really have time to. There's no point unless you get in a real pinch or you got to lure him one way and go the other. But it's like there's no time.
Yeah, the scariest parts of doing it with no wards are Desolation Point and Broken Railroad. Those are the two scariest points because you have to go all the way in, then you literally have to turn around and go straight back out the way you came, and guess where he is?
Yeah.
I think coming out of Broken Railroad was the closest I came to dying, and he was literally like 20 yards away from me. And I stemmed up and ran as fast as I could.
running.
Yeah, pretty much. It was running. And somebody asked, Flowerfield asked in game, I'm curious, why do people, or he asked in chat, I'm curious, what do people consider to be late game and long dark? Hadrian, what do you consider to be late game and long dark?
I just answered in chat, actually. It's peak gear, backpack fully upgraded, all tools and armaments crafted or otherwise obtained. And the most important thing to be considered whether you're actually in late game is, are there any cattails left to pick and eat in the world anywhere?
100%.
You're not in late game yet.
Always.
Yeah. And you should not claim as much, or you're lying.
So Hadrian, I'm at 750 days, but I haven't picked all the cattails yet. So what does that say?
You're not in late game, Atheenon.
Oh man.
Late game.
Get good.
Tomasina, what do you consider to be late game?
Oh God, I mean that's a really good one, honestly, because I want nothing more than one day to like actually just collect every cattail in the game without eating any of them, just to count them. Just
to drop them all on the ground in a mountain.
Yeah. I mean, I would consider late game when the only way for you to get certain supplies is beachcombing. So like when you consider the fact that technically reclaimed wood is finite, it's not something we're often using. But it literally is, there's only so many crates, there's only so many chairs. So the only place eventually, if you end up burning and using all of it because you've just survived for so long, the only place eventually that you're going to get reclaimed wood is going to be what washes up on shore. That's my ultimate goal someday, is to like have so many things be only achievable through beachcombing, and I guess the trader.
Yeah. What about you, Zach? Where do you count late game setting in?
Day 49. No, it's late game for me is when you can't craft any more clothing.
Okay.
And then you're in the late game. So if you already have a double bear coat or whatever, you got the moose satchel, you got your bow. Obviously, this is interloper, but stalker or whatever be the same, I guess. But then you're in the late game. Doesn't matter if you've been in 2 regions, but if you are at that point where your safety is no longer a concern, then you are in the late game. You maybe don't have the ballistics vest, that who cares about that, but you got your bear coat and you got their pants or whatever. Maybe cougar head wrap, or don't necessarily have extreme items, but you can walk around and not be cold in the afternoon on day 15 interloper, then, and you have a bow and you have the technical backpack, then you're in the late game, I think. And then you say, hey, I'll just take some supplies with me and go and explore another region I haven't explored yet in this run, but there's nothing I really need from that region. Then you're in the late game. That's how I see it. And when that is day-wise depends on the play. For some people, that's day 300, and for others, that's day 35. It just depends on how you play.
Yeah.
But that's how I see it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. See, for me, in my mind, I always think of late game as temperature related. Like, when is it going to get super cold in the game for me? And it's like I always try to make a goal of like by day 50, I have all my gear like set up, like as far as improvised bedroll, have my nice warm clothing. Just because to me, it's like, can I survive in this cave overnight with just my clothing and my bedroll in the back of it while a blizzard is blowing outside?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's like my key is like, if I can do that, I'm getting towards like the late game, because now I can actually survive outside, which you can never do in the early game. You're always going to be cold inside the caves until you get that good clothing ready to go. But yeah, for me, late game, I don't think really starts ever until after like day 200 or so.
when you get cabin fever real life and build a stick family, then you're in the late game.
The late game is when the boredom sets in, when you're actually bored because you ain't got shit to do. That's late game.
Well, see, that's the thing for me is like 750 days in, I'm still not bored because there's still stuff I haven't explored. I mean, I've explored
map is huge now. Like there's just so much.
That's the thing is late game 5-6 years ago, it set on a lot earlier, I think, than late game now because you just have so much more access. With every zone they've added to the game, I feel the game has become not easier, but more survivable. Just because the gear, well, now with the trader, it even exponentially adds to that anyway. But the game is just more survivable because you have more resources available to you. I mean, I'm on day 750 and I'm finding ruined cans of food out on benches still. You know, it's like, okay, well, I still can find canned food on day 750. Yeah, it's all out on benches and it's all ruined, but it's edible because guess what? I have level 5 and everything, including rifle, although I'm playing on interloper. The only two things I don't have at level 5 are revolver and gun smithing, and they're at like level 4+. But
because of the books.
Because of the books. And that's the thing is like late game I think is very subjective for sure, depending on who you are. Like you were saying, Zach, it's different for everybody. I mean, and Tomasina, like with the boredom thing setting in, it's like when you start getting bored, it is kind of late game. But they've done a lot to relieve that boredom with Tales and the Trader and a lot of other stuff. They've done a lot to relieve that boredom late game, and I think there's more they could do. So,
yeah, I have a video called "The Long Dark Meaning of Life," where I basically say that you can't get bored in the long dark because it isn't goal oriented, which means it's entirely a player narrative that you're invested in the world is your home, and therefore you cannot get bored in it because there'll always be something to do because you have to maintain your base, you have to go over a new region. It's been 500 days and I've been in that region, let's go back and check it out. Hey, I forgot to left this thing here, and so on. You know, you drive your own narrative when you play, even if you're on day 20,000. So therefore you can never get bored. You're only bored if you don't like the game to begin with. I mean, some people play it and they're like, okay, I'm on day 80, I've crafted everything, looked at everything, I guess there's nothing else for me to do, quit. You know, then you haven't really experienced the immersity of the game beyond that point. But if you are one of those people, which is basically what Long Dark attracts, then you will never get bored in the late game. It just won't happen.
Well, I think one unique thing the Long Dark has is that most survival games out there are a craft your way to survival. You start with nothing, you craft stone tools, then you craft iron tools, then you craft, you go through a stage of, I get to a point where I've crafted all the max level gear, and people go, well, the game's over now. But the Long Dark isn't a survival game like that. The crafting part happens pretty quickly, and then you don't really need to craft stuff any longer because there's not a lot of crafting involved. Now the survival literally becomes you fighting nature, you fighting the cold for the most part, and then the wolves and the bears and the cougar and the moose secondary to that, which I've always told people, it's not the wolf or the bear that's killed you, it's that you traveled through a blizzard for the last 10 minutes and now your health is at 50% and one wolf comes along and ganks you and you're dead. And it's really the cold that killed you. If you had been at full health, that wolf would have damaged you, but he wouldn't have killed you probably. And so the game definitely has a different bent on survival, which is, I think, why it draws such an interesting group of people to it, because we want that kind of game. We want something where we are the narrative setter. We are the one that tells the world, this is what we're doing in you. And the world throws its weather and nastiness at us, and we go, we refuse to die until we're ready to.
You touched on something that reminded me of something, which was a change I wanted to see, but I didn't do it, which was when they had the wildlife refresh. I requested that it would be cool if they had more, let's call them guardian animals. There are some of those already, but imagine, for example, that Goldmine had a bear like literally roaming in front of the entrance, so that you are required to either kill it or be very sneaky getting past it, so that some of the routes or areas of the world are kind of guarded. So there's a challenge to do them, as opposed to just like, I know where it is, I'll just go there. that would be kind of fun. They have some of those, Boris and Ash Canyon, and this, like, I guess Mystery Lake has a bear. No, I'm sorry, Pleasant Valley has a bear by the cave. There are some of them, but that'll be, maybe it's just me.
Well, and there's the moose in Ash Canyon right below the ropes after you get out of the gold mine that sits there going, you don't get to go anywhere with that tactical backpack you just got.
You're not going back out that rope,
And you mentioned something, Zach, about sneaking, which made me think about one of the main things I don't like with a couple of the new animals, especially the timber wolves and especially the cougar. But sort of with the timber wolves as well, is one thing I really enjoy about Long Dark in a lot of ways is even early game, there's ways to sneak around the bear, sneak around the wolves. If you're careful enough, you can. The cougar, he just has an area of effect. If you're in that area, he's just going to come and get you. I mean, there's no way to sneak around him. Same thing with the timber wolves. You can sneak with the timber wolves a little bit, but once they lock onto you, you either have to deal with them or get inside. There's no like outrunning them, or with the bear you can outrun the bear. You can take wolves and kind of lead them on a path around the world if you want to, and they and keep them at bay. But with the timber wolves, it's and the cougar, the animal models they put on those, I'm not the biggest fan of. But yeah, let's not talk about timber wolves. Beatles B is like, let's not talk about timber wolves.
Beatles is reaching in from chat and reining Atheenon in. Like, stop before it starts.
Hey, I've always said the only reason I criticize the Long Dark on certain things is that it's one of my favorite. It's, other than EverQuest, my favorite game I've ever played.
Heckin' love it.
And I heckin' love it. And if I didn't love it, I wouldn't complain about it. I'd just quietly go about my way and not play it any longer.
I mean,
Amen,
I think,
brother.
I think Atheenon is a good example of the Hinterland does listen to criticism and stuff. And because there's been several cases where you've said things like, Hinterland, this sucks. The gas in Blackrock is shit. That's terrible.
Okay, that's personal
whatever,
though.
And then Raphael could have easily just been like, okay, I have a blacklist here. Atheenon goes on that blacklist. But then you get invited back, right? So they respect that we say things that we like. I mean, I also, when episode 5 came out, people say, Zach's not going to say anything negative because he's in love with Raphael. So then Raphael emailed me and says, just say what you think, say if it was bad, say it was bad. So I said, okay, well, this was bad, and then, after I said this was good and this was bad, and then later emails me, hey, do you want to do an interview? He wouldn't do that if it's like, we shouldn't be afraid to criticize the game, especially when it's so important for us. It's everything that we love still has flaws. There's ways to improve. Ask everyone in chat. There is always something that we really like, someone else dislikes, or vice versa, or something we wish to see or want to see in Black Frost or whatever. It will always be something. Even if I give it a 10 out of 10, there's something they don't like. Scurvy, for example.
Yeah.
There's that one guy out there that loves Cabin Fever.
Yeah. I don't know who that is.
I just haven't found him yet.
See, the funny thing is, a lot of people do complain about cabin fever, but I'm like, well, I've never really run into that problem because I don't stay in one place very long at all. It's always that question. I'm sure you guys have got it as well. Is where's your favorite base location? And it's like, I mean, I can name one for every zone, but I don't really have a zone base that I stick with because for me, and I think that's probably one of the reasons I don't like the new Cougar is for me, the game is about exploration, discovery, going places, seeing what's in areas, and checking out the world and seeing what little secret things they've thrown up in the zones. Favorite region? My favorite region, Duck, is Hush River Valley. Best zone ever made. But for me, it's about exploration. It's about finding all those little nooks and crannies and stuff that you can find. And so I never stay in one place for very long. I make a base, I dump some stuff off there, and then I'm like, I'm on my way. I'm moving now.
My base is my backpack. It comes with me everywhere. I'm a nomad.
Your face is your backpack. That's good. I like that.
Nomad Athena.
Indeed. Other people's favorite zones?
Astro Valley, probably.
Yeah, such a great zone.
Astro is a good one. Similarly, I would say Ash Canyon, kind of for the same reason that it's just so vertical.
The only problem I have with Ash Canyon is the dead zone. on the right, on the left hand side of the map, coming down from the gold mine all the way down to the exit out to Timberwolf. It just there's nothing there. And I wish they had put more. I was hoping when they did the wildlife reset, they were going to put more stuff there, like put some wolves in, or put a moose over there, or put a bear wandering up. Could you imagine a bear wandering up and down that area? That would have been freaking awesome. And it's just like missed opportunity. Everything is on the right side of the map where the angler's den and all that is. It's all over there.
Yeah.
None of it's on that other side, which just frustrated me because it's like perfect opportunity to add some danger and some excitement into that part of the zone. But I do like Ash Canyon as well, mainly for the backpack. But you know,
it is
Forsaken Airfield's good.
Yes, that Forsaken Airfield might be my favorite map of the Tales maps. But this, like, if I could go back 10 years, like 10 years ago, Hadrian would have been appalled at me for what I'm about to say. But this is true. And it speaks to what we were saying about how Zach, you were saying that the map is your home, and this is a narrative sandbox in a way that very few games are. And there's genuine, because of the numbers of runs that we've had, even outside of just single playthroughs, like there's genuine nostalgia and stories and narrative that are attached to each zone. And when my channel was young, when The Long Dark was young, there's literally a trailer that you can still find on my channel for the third season of my Against All Odds series in The Long Dark, where I was joking about the fact that I started in Pleasant Valley, and I was furious about it. I was like, oh my God, of course I started in Pleasant Valley. Why would you do this? And of course, this was the pre-episode 3 Pleasant Valley. This was before they changed it up. It was a miserable zone that was like blizzards every 5 minutes, and it was terrible. I have to say, I think my favorite zone is now Pleasant Valley. Not just because they updated it, and it is genuinely better, but because there's just such a feeling of like warmth and nostalgia that I get, not just connected to the game, but to y'all, to the community, to my community. Like the fact that there's just so much context in that space is what makes it my favorite zone overall. And that's only possible in a game like The Long Dark, which is
the days where Pleasant Valley was the most brutal region.
Yep.
And walk in the park.
And touching on that, Hadrian, I think that's one thing that's so unique about The Long Dark, is that all of us that have played it, it's a solo player game, but it's a shared experience game. We all know that fear of coming over a hill and there's a wolf bark all of a sudden right in front of us. We all know that fear of looking over our shoulder and hearing the bear crows coming up behind us. We all have these shared experiences of horror and death that we've experienced in the game, and the nasty blizzards and all the it's sort of like a shared trauma almost of experiences that we have. Even though
1000% is.
Even though it's a solo player game, you talking about Pleasant Valley, every person who's ever played Long Dark is all sitting there nodding their head going, yep, I know exactly what he's talking about. You know, and that's the thing, is like is that so unique for a game like this, where you are only playing ever by yourself, but we all know what it's like. And that just gives us that bond that a lot of games do not have. And I think that's so beautiful about this game. It's one thing that I just absolutely love with it.
I 100% agree. And it's even like, because you're part of the community, you attach sometimes even people to events, locations. So like, oh, I recognize this area. This is where Atheenon died, or whatever. Or like, this is where Dustoptimus fell off the ledge, and this is it's all death related, obviously. And then I had Tomasina. She did the Tomasina trick with the can, and this, that was it. And so this sort of thing, and it triggers sort of like community events. You went there, but you were part of the experience of seeing someone else be there, and then you get to go there, and then it's like a collective experience. Like Rafa said in the interview with me, said there's no tutorial in The Long Dark because the community is the tutorial. That's what he said, and it feels a bit like that. Like I liked how you put it, but it's sort of like a collective experience. That's the thing. Like that's if you're part of the community, which is very unique in The Long Dark. It's this single player survival game, but it's so wholesome that people watch each other and support each other, and then you see their experiences. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you could do that. Oh, shame that happened over there. Okay, and then you go there and you remember that happening, and that's fun. It makes it very wholesome. I mean, it's like finding memories of different life in the same world almost. It's very, very wholesome.
Very true.
Yep.
So basically, this is
and just go in on that ravine. I mean, all I have to say is ravine and auto walk, and the and everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
To this day, I've never done it.
I did it.
Hey, that's what Professor Niels ran across the ledge. You know, that's how they did that. There's all these stories. That's why the player narrative is always stronger than the authored narrative, because it's our personal experience. And that's why permadeath also, this is, now we're moving into psychology here because I research this stuff, but the fact that you have permadeath, cheat death aside, makes you so much more invested in the run. Because you don't have that feeling, oh, well, I'll just load up the save, who cares? But now it feels like something, not necessarily anxiety, oh, I better not die. More like you feel like this matters to me because I've invested in it and the world and the community. And there is no going back, really. And that's what makes it so fun and invested.
Yep. Oh yeah, and that was always my biggest selling point when people would ask me about the games I played or something like that. It's like, oh, there's this game out there. Okay, it's a survival game. You can play it for months and get up to like 200-300 days, and if you die, you have to start all over. And people are like, why the heck would you ever play that? I'm like, because it's awesome. Play and find out. It makes every decision you make. It makes every decision you choose like. You have to think about it. You have to like constantly be in the game. You can't just go on autopilot. And when you do, you die. And I've always said the biggest killer of players in games that have gone for several hundred days is just getting complacent. You get complacent. You just don't care. You know, that's why I died on day 473 on my interloper is I got complacent.
Famous clip. Yeah.
And that's the thing is the complacency eventually gets you, and Long Dark's great about lulling you into complacency. You know, it's one of those where I've described it as walking for 500 hours to have 10 minutes of a total fear, horror, and anxiety, and that's what it's all about. You go through the game for so long with nothing really bad happening to you, and then boom, just out of nowhere something hits you.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's so funny how often I think a lot of us get the question of like, so how do you win this game? Like what's the goal? And it drives me crazy because I'm like, there isn't one, and that's the best part. It's just be alive longer than anybody else or longer than you think you should be. Like I'm beating the game by I'm not beating the game by winning it. I'm defeating it. I'm always trying to defeat this game's attempts to kill me. Exactly.
Yeah, like, how do I get on Sutherland's boat and get out of here? No, you don't, mate. That's the point.
I thought the goal was to learn how to safely eat and digest trees.
Can you eat trees? Yeah. That's I'm gonna. Do you guys also get like the questions on it? Or you talk to people about like it comes up in conversation that you're playing this game and that maybe you're a content creator for it, and you explain it kind of like how it's that you walk around and then they say, oh yeah, that sounds a bit boring. As a campfire simulator. And so, do people watch you play that? Yeah, I have one when 100,000 views, and I'm just walking around, there's no talking, and people watch that stuff. You know, yeah, some people fall asleep to it, but you know, and I don't really know exactly what to say. Like you kind of have to see it or experience it. Like it's hard to describe. How do you guys do that? Yeah. Do you have that conversation sometimes?
The uninitiated, all the time. I mean, with as much time as I spend in the like theater community, so there's always kind of like older folks who don't play video games at all, trying to explain what a streamer is or a content creator is in the first place, and then going,
what Twitch
so this is do it on. Yeah, what is Twitch? Yeah, like maybe they remember Justin TV, but like they kind of know what YouTube is, but they're like, why would people watch you play a video game? And then the video game itself,
just play it themselves?
Yeah, that's the question. Oh, it's just so much fun to watch people play though. When I started watching Twitch also, it was like, why would I just play it myself? And I started watching it. It's so much fun to watch people play. When they're either fun to watch or they're really good at it, sometimes both. And just for the record, by the way, if they make a Long Dark movie, like Tomasina has to play Astrid.
Ooh, that could be fun.
That would be cool. And then you can eat trees if you want to. There's CGI in it. Yeah.
I
And
can
horses.
confirm Raph has my headshot and resume. So
Oh, yes. There you go.
It's all going according to plan.
I should play Methuselah, yeah.
That would actually work.
Yeah.
that'd be
second.
so cool.
That should be Rand, though, to be fair. Rand looks like Methuselah.
Yeah, Rand Althor. Yeah, Rand is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rand is definitely more along that line.
I don't think I should play Will. I can play maybe Father, whatever his name is.
Father
The
Thomas.
priest.
I'll
Because, yeah,
I'll
because
play
I'm
the
both-
trader, just like
I'm
yelling at
bold.
people from a boat offshore randomly.
And well, yeah, that's perfect. He knows everything about the whole island.
That's
He's
true.
just this wise sage.
Something survival school, something.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're breaking up. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I had a name once. It was Hadrian. You know,
I owned a salt company.
yeah, I'm so
Zach,
I shoveled
that's a
salt by
name
the
I haven't
bag hole.
heard.
I blew up the bunkers to make Hadrian's wall. Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, we are
Jabbot
absolutely
has a
getting
very
into the
good
weeds now.
point in chat saying, to this day I love nothing more than watching a new Long Dark player learning the game. And I think
Yeah.
and that is
Yeah.
I always see people like who are brand new playing the game on Twitch, and I always love going in and just watching them explore. I mean, my biggest dream is that I get knocked on the head really hard and forget everything I know about Long Dark, and I can experience it from ground
God,
zero
yeah.
one more time.
Yeah.
That would just be
I,
so amazing if I could selectively just get rid of those memories and experience the game with no knowledge of it again. Because
That'd be cool.
that's why I get so excited when new updates come out with new zones. It's like, I get something new that I don't know. It's like,
Yeah.
yes,
Mhm.
it's so exciting. Well, that's been fun getting into Sundered Passes. I've only been in that zone maybe once or twice. And so now I'm beginning to explore the whole thing again and like learn about it and figure it out. And it's so awesome.
And I can confirm this. I was watching Atheenon stream in that zone yesterday, and his reactions were very much like a little kid in a candy store, just like, "Oh my god, there's this here, and there's this here, and there's a stove!" Like he was so excited in a way that you can only be when you're that far in. And I gotta say too, like when you like. I enjoy watching other content creators, both on YouTube and on Twitch, to remind myself sometimes that it's okay to repeat things. Like, especially if you like have an education style like of content, it's okay to say the same things over and over again. If there's one thing that I have unabashedly said, like just broken record style for 10 years, it's like that the Long Dark is at its best. That's my wording always. The Long Dark is at its best when you are new, when you don't know where you're going, when you don't know where the animals are, which is why the wildlife refresh was so freaking great.
That's
Because
great.
there's a sense of like, oh God, where are the wolves now? I don't know anymore. Like, and so just that sense of like not only knowing where the animals are, but where like you might find shelter, what's around the next hill, not knowing the terrain. That if you by some chance are listening to this and you have not actually played the Long Dark, that right there is the magic.
Yeah. That's right. Whenever I see new players play it, I always promote them because everyone likes seeing that. Everyone likes
You are
seeing.
amazing about that, man. It's great to see every time.
True.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's people did that to me when I was small, so I want to do the same thing to everyone else. This is a great community, and sometimes you get new people in the community that way. It's like because people get suddenly tons of viewers, and like, where do these people come from? Wow, there's a whole world in there. You got to just be part of it.
Yep.
Then you get new people, and we can recruit them, slowly take over the world like that. No, it's great. I get that broken record coming all the time, like because I have a very educational approach to things. I repeat things, and also I'm sorry, but I can't remember what I have said and not said across 100 episodes of a series. So I'll say things like, "Oh yeah, the moose is going to despawn because there's an aurora out, and they are not out in the aurora." And I get comments like, "Zach, we're on episode 97. You have said this 58 times." Yeah, well, it is just how it is, and I don't remember. Also, the stats say that I think it's like 15% of my viewers are new for each episode, so I don't know. So
you don't know. Yep.
I'm not. So there will be repetition, but this is how it is. If you're a content creator, that's how it is. I can't remember.
I do that all the time when I stream. I repeat myself a lot, and it's like, well, hey, there's probably somebody out there who hasn't heard this before.
Yeah,
There's
there's
always new
probably
people coming in.
someone who wasn't here 10 minutes ago when you said it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like there's always somebody else that just hasn't heard it yet.
All your
Yeah,
sticks.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
God.
That's
Every
so
single one.
Pick up
One
your
of the
sticks.
If you leave a
things-
stick behind, you're a noob.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the
No
reasons
stick left
I
behind, man. No stick left behind.
No, stay left.
I always tell people, pick up your sticks. If you ever get overweight, just drop some sticks. You know, they ain't going nowhere. Just pick up but it's always better to have full weight and have 50 sticks on you. You know, you'll never be upset about that.
Yeah.
No,
I,
don't hurt Larry.
One of the reasons I started streaming, I spent a lot of my time watching a creator called Sips. He's Canadian. He lives in the UK. He's one of the Yogscast guys. So I'd watch him play like My Summer Car and like RimWorld, stuff like that. And that was just like my decompressed time, is just sit down and watch Sips because he was just hilarious. But I remember I had like a flight coming up, and so I went and checked out. He had a series playing a game called The Long Dark, and I saw a little Canadian flag on it, and I was like, okay, he's Canadian, that could be funny. And I sat down and I started watching it, and I'm like, oh, this is the first time ever like I'm bored watching Sips. And that was so many years ago. And then several years later, I finally got into streaming, and then I started playing The Long Dark because I fell into a sort of survival game that I was like, oh, I want to play more survival. And then obviously fast forward, it's been however many years. I think I started in like 2020. So like 6 years later, I feel like an old hat at it. And I finally think, I'm like, wait a minute, didn't Sips play this game? And I went back to watch that same video series, and all of a sudden the entertainment value just skyrocketed. I'm like watching him like harvest sticks in Mystery Lake, and he's doing it over and over again because he needs his sticks, right? And I'm just watching his health go down because he has no idea he's taking cold damage. And it was just if anyone has had that experience, I highly recommend watching anybody being new at this game.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Trying to figure things out.
That makes me curious. Just maybe starting with you, Hadrian. How did you get into like streaming, making content?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
like
question.
we need to go around
sort of
the
drove
whole
you
Let's
to
do
it?
the round for that one. Yeah, I would like to.
Yeah. So like my original, The Long Dark was like a weird tangent from what I started out with. I discovered a content creator like my second year of grad school. I was really feeling like I was getting back into games, and I hadn't played gaming for a while because first year of grad school, like it was just absolute like nuts intensity, and like just reading nonstop, studying nonstop, and it gave me a need to have a coping mechanism that I was familiar with, and I got back into games, and I found that I was really sinking my teeth into strategy games as the first ones that I got back into. And I was really wanting to learn more about the Crusader Kings games. And I was wanting to learn more about, I wanted to play more of the Total War games because I'd always loved those. And I found a YouTuber named Arumba, who's still around, who also streams on Twitch. Who did a really good tutorial series on Crusader Kings 2. And the way that he created content at the time, the only content creators that I was really familiar with were people like PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, people that, and by the way, I love Sean, and that's Jacksepticeye, and I love Mark. Like they're genuinely awesome people who have been really successful. At the time, from the outside looking in, they were very just like kind of loud. It was very, it seemed very like childlike and like kind of lowest common denominator type stuff. And I don't really find that that's the case anymore, but at the time that's what it resembled. When I saw Arumba and saw him doing his tutorial series, I was like, oh wow, look at this. This is like really like thoughtful, in some ways narrative, because the way Crusader Kings is, content that is like geared toward, you know, more thoughtful gamers. And I was like, wait, could you do this kind of content for like those kind of games? And you could you have a more relaxed voice where you're not like yelling randomly into the mic? And as soon as I realized that, it was like dominoes. Just like, yeah, I want to do this. And so that, I mean, that's the shortest version of the story I can tell, is that like one thing led to another, and I just started a channel. And as far as The Long Dark goes, after I finished my first series in Total War Rome 2, I started playing other games, and the thread that started connecting things together was what we've been talking about here today, which is the narrative sandbox. The fact that it's one of those games, even though it's not a strategy game, where the story emerges in a different way every single time you play. And that's why I'm here.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Tomasina, how about you?
Yeah.
I think we got a little bit of your story.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. yeah, watching some content creators, yeah, especially, oh my god, Sips is a great he's kind of a he's been around for 8 million years doing content, but actually I think my draw to him was very similar, Hadrian, to kind of what you're talking about, how like you don't have to be overstimulating to be entertaining online. Like you don't have to do a silly voice and have a bunch of stupid sound effects and stuff. Like you could just be, my favorite thing about him was just that he was diarrhea of the mouth, and just the random things that would come out of, like, I still have like a sound bite in my head from him playing The Long Dark. He goes, wolves hilariously cannot open doors, as he's shutting himself into a fishing hut. Like it still just cracks me up. And so when I would watch that, I had a performance background, and there's so much like asking permission involved in the acting world. You have to audition for a thing, and you're getting rejected over and over again. And when I realized, like, as I was watching this guy, I'm like, you know what? I like video games. Like, I feel like I could do this. And I realized as I started doing it, I'm like, even if there's only 3 to 12 people here, I didn't have to ask. I don't have to get cast in this role. I can just boot up my channel and I can perform whenever I want, and people want to see it, they can come see it. People don't, they don't. But it was something that I can do on my own terms, and yeah, that's kind of how it happened. It was like in a perfect world, it would be just doing shows and commercials, whatever, acting as much as possible. But when those opportunities don't come up, I'm still doing this. I'm still making this content. And then, The Long Dark kind of happened. It became a little secondary to that, but it also became a huge, I went into gaming content going, well, I'm going to suck at a lot of stuff. And a lot of the entertainment value is going to be in that, of me just like stumbling around and finding weird ways to fail. Cause that's just the fun stuff I like to watch. And then all of a sudden I got like good at this game, and I didn't realize that was possible. So
and now 6,000 hours later, look
exactly.
at you.
Yeah, right. Tomasina, I have a fun follow-up question that might kind of put you on the spot, but I think would be fun for you to answer. But we'll wait till we're done with going around the horn on this.
Cool. Okay.
How about you, Zach? What got you into making stuff for the internet, for the interwebs?
Well, it's kind of a complicated story, but I'll try and shorten it, because I was a content creator before, about 20, no, more than that, 25 years ago almost. So that was before YouTube existed, believe it or not. So before YouTube existed, I was one of the first people in the world to make something called frag movies. So it was like Counter-Strike highlights. And back then, the only way you could do that was if you watched, say, a pro player, you had to get his demo, as it's called, like the recording of that game that player had, get a hold of that, and then you had to extract each frame as a picture from whatever that was happening in a Counter-Strike, which then you edited into a movie. And that was a whole, you then measured your success in downloads, not in views, because you didn't know how many views you had. You said people downloading your files. And I was very successful. I was in the top of the world. Like I was interviewed multiple times internationally. I was on TV. I was speaking to Valve. They watched my videos, all sorts of stuff. I got awards. I was quite big. But then I started studying, and I kind of retired from it. There's a very infamous interview with me where HLTV interviews me and said, hey, there's this game coming up called Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Do you think it's going to be any good? And I was like, nah, it's not going to be any good. And then it kind of really exploded, And then what happened with the resurgence was I only did like casual editing for like over a decade. And then I got into The Long Dark. So the way that happened was I saw a review of No Man's Sky by Joseph Anderson, and he had a follow away. That was when No Man's Sky was trash. Now it's fantastic, but then it was trash. And he had a follow video. He said, play these games instead of No Man's Sky. And one of those games was The Long Dark. And I looked at, this looks really nice. This is like 2017 maybe, or something, 16. And then I started watching.
Were the trees still green?
Yeah, it was quite. And I started watching it, and I started playing it casually on the PlayStation. And in 2018, so I got into the community. So for the first year or two, I was just a community member in chat, and there was this whole journey. The first person I really watched was Shardul. That guy was great,
Oh,
and
Shardul.
the best laugh of TLD. And he said, like, nah, I'm not that good. You should watch people like Kimiota, Atheenon, Hadrian. That's what he said. So then, that snowballed into those guys. I think at the time, Hadrian, you had taken a break, so you weren't actually that active. You came back. And then that led into everyone else, into Once and Only, and the Deadpool, and then Tomasina. Tomasina took a couple of attempts because when I discovered Tomasina, you had this like feta thing going on in your chat, so I was like, what is happening? I don't know. So I was like, hi, or she didn't see it. Anyway, I'll come back 3 months later, try again. Then I got really into the community, and then I said, I'm going to try streaming just for the fun of it. And then it took me like couple streams and I was affiliate because when I started streaming, I had already been in chat for like 2 years, so everyone already knew me, so they already started saying, hey, Saka started streaming, here's his link, so I got like 150 followers like right away. It was really easy. And then in about 2020 or so, the reason I switched to YouTube was because I just noticed that if you went to look for tutorials on YouTube for The Long Dark, they weren't really like edited teaching tutorials. They were usually videos of people saying, okay, I'm going to tell you how to play The Long Dark, and it's like 20 minutes of them walking around the snow and just talking about it. They wouldn't
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
So they wouldn't show it. So I would say, I'm going to make some of those where you have like a 10-minute tips. And so I started making those, and then that was the beginning of it. And then people started saying like, well, these tips are great, but I would love to see you do it in practice, like an actual run. So I said, okay, I'll make one video where I do that, which was the start of the bow video, which is like a 5-hour video from spawning to getting the bow and hunting. And I thought, okay, I've done it. I've done the one video where I narrate everything and whatever, explain it. And that video got like 100,000 views. So I was like, okay, people obviously like to see me going around talking about The Long Dark all the time. So I just stuck to it, and I switched to like the narrative style. I just constantly talk about the game and narrate all the time. And then sure enough, people started saying, well, I just fall asleep to your videos. That's fine. Who cares? Good night. And I play Stalker. I try not to shoot with the rifle because it wakes people up. And that's so that's how it started. So it was like I had a content creation career before, and then I stopped for 15 years almost. And then I came back, but there's no transition from the old to the new. Like there's hardly any viewers from the old career to the new one. So I didn't have a base to build on because I was long dead. There's a whole generational shift since then. But then because of the community, it's just been a great experience to go from being part of the community to a small content creator to a bigger content creator, and then finding out what works for you. And when I started out, I was looking up to like, wow, Tomasina and Atheenon and Hadrian, they're great. I wish I could be as good at the game as they are. In fact, I'm going on too long. I'm not going to stop it. But I remember the first time I came on Atheenon's stream, he was playing The Long Dark, obviously. And he was in Bleak Inlet. This must have been 2018, maybe 17.
Probably.
And I said hi in chat. And then I guess it came up like new viewer or something, because Athena was like, hey there, Style Zach, welcome into the stream. How are you doing today? And I was like, hey, great to see you. I'm the first time, whatever. And it's like, and Athena was like, let's see who you are. And he clicked on my profile. It's like, oh, let's see. Oh, yeah, you content creator 2003. Oh, a PhD in psychology. Wow. Anyway, welcome into my stream. And I was like, "Oh, this guy seems
this
really
is incredible."
Let's run the background check.
To be honest, Zach, I totally forgot about all that. So I'm hearing this for the first time myself.
I once tried to find this clip, but it's buried in your archive somewhere. But I was like, so this is really wholesome. People are really friendly. And also, Athena is just such a friendly, inclusive guy. So it was a good sort of start anyway. So that's how it started. And it's escalated from there. And it's just such a great experience, a wonderful community. And the more people I know, the better. But yeah, I just wanted to say that I appreciate all the three of you, because you guys were there before me and you were the inspiration for me to go as well. So if it wasn't for you, I don't think I would be here now. So thank you.
Well, I don't think
On
I've
behalf
had
of
anything to do with your success, but you're welcome.
Right?
yeah, like if
You
that's
own
true,
that
Zach,
all on your own, buddy.
yeah, if that's true, on behalf of all of us, I don't think we could have asked for a better, like, I don't think of you as a successor, but if what you just said is true, like what you have done to bring the Long Dark community together in a novel way as a content creator is all you. And it's, you once said something very similarly complimentary to what you just said to me directly years ago. And I remember thinking, what are you talking about? Not because I can't take compliments, but because it, like, I looked at what you were doing and I was like, this is freaking off the charts, like in terms of just how you were growing and also what you were doing to bring people together, connected, of course, to what I mentioned earlier about like supporting small creators and really, like, as a rule, bringing them up and bringing them together. So we're glad to have you. But
I mean,
you're
I've
absolutely
had so
one
many
of us.
people
And
come into chat and be like, I saw you in Zach's video. He put a clip of you in there, and you know, you've just been great for the community as far as like showcasing other streamers, showcasing their failures, their successes, their little tips and tricks, and you know, all that sort of stuff. And the content you put together is just so good, Zach. I wish I could make content like you. I'm truly jealous.
Thank you.
Which leads me. How did I get going in this? Well, I played EverQuest and EverQuest 2 for about 14 years, from about 2000 to about 2014. And then I had a very bad couple of years where I literally just was not having a good time and I didn't do anything at all. And then in about late 2015, my son actually was watching, I believe it was a COD tournament on Twitch. And I was like, what the heck's that? And he was just having a great time with it. And I was like, what is that? And he's like, it's this thing called Twitch, you know, and you can watch things on it. And so I started watching a little bit of Twitch, and I mainly watched COD tournaments. I know that's weird because I don't do first-person shooters. And then I got into a couple of mobile games. I got my first actual cell phone that I could download mobile games on. And so, of course, I downloaded the great, awesome Clash of Clans. And I watched a couple content creators with that. One named Hyphonics, who's still around. He and another one, BBXH, and a couple other people that I watched. And started chatting with them and stuff. And I was like, this seems kind of fun. Why don't I give it a try? And so one day I decided, well, this was back when I had a potato of a computer. And I decided, well, I'm just going to throw on some EverQuest and just play EverQuest on stream and stream it. And I started doing that. And, you know, EverQuest is not that popular of a game as far as people watching it. But I'd have 5 or 6 viewers who were playing it who'd watch me come in and watch me play and stuff. And it was fun. And, you know, I was just having a good time. And actually, I mean, as far as I was concerned back in 2016, when I started, I uploaded videos to YouTube for no other reason than just archiving stuff. I figured, hey, I don't want to, I mean, my computer was so basic. Here's how basic my computer was. I did not have a graphics card. I was literally playing on a computer that was using the graphics card that was already built into the motherboard. That's how potato my computer was. And so I could barely play anything. when I asked my tech guy, well, why is my computer not running real well? He came over and looked at it. He's like, well, here's the thing. You don't have a graphics card in your computer. And at that point I was like, what's a graphics card? I mean, that's, you know, tech savvy's never been my thing. But in January of 2017, one of my viewers who was watching me play EverQuest was like, hey, there's this game out there called The Long Dark. And I think there's even a clip of me still somewhere floating around where I was like, oh, Long Dark? What's that? Is that like a MMO? Is it a, shoot 'em up game? What's that all about? He's like, no. You just walk through the wilderness and you know, try to survive as long as you can. I was like, okay, that sounds kind of cool. I like that, because the big draw for me with EverQuest was I made my own story in it. It's in a lot of ways, like Long Dark, it's very much a self-told narrative where you do things at your own pace and you kind of create the story around your character as you go along. And so it kind of appealed to me. And so I went and started watching Kimiota, Lexi W, Shardul, And I just started watching them play the game, and I'd ask questions about it, and I just was kind of curious about it. And then I went ahead and bought the game, and I played a little bit of Voyager just to get my feet wet. Then I played a little bit of Stalker, and then quite foolishly, I started playing Interloper with less than 200 days total between Voyager and Stalker. I started playing Interloper right away on stream, which was very hilarious at the beginning.
How'd that go?
Well, you know, there was a lot of death, but you know, I think that was part of the success of it. You know, is that you know, people like seeing you die in the game because that's why I first got my first inkling that hey, this is it's kind of a community game with everybody having that shared experience, like I was talking about before. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to go for 500 days in Interloper, because back then the 500 days, that was like the goal. You know, everybody wanted to get to 500 days. And so I went for 500 days. And as a lot of you probably know, on day 473, there was a tragic incident in Timberwolf Mountain where I got overconfident. And I went up to the top of Timberwolf Mountain to make a run down with all the gear from the summit. And I was like, I don't need my improvised hatchet. I'm just going to make a milk run. This is a milk run. I'm going to go up, grab my stuff, and I'm going to come back down. And then as I was exiting the cave there at the bottom of the three-way cave, I come up over a hill, and there's a wolf. And he jumps me, and I furiously mashed my buttons with my little knife trying to get him off of me, and he took me from like 70% to 0.
Oh my god.
And it absolutely just killed me. And then somebody went and posted the clip of that up on Reddit, and all of a sudden it's got like 20 or 30,000 views. And I was like, okay, people must really like to see you die in horrible situations. Wow, this is such a great world.
I think that's the most viewed clip on Twitch, if you ignore famous streamers trying the game out and getting like random crap. If you ignore that, I think it is the most viewed clip on Twitch.
Yeah, 9 years ago. For Long Dark, And I was devastated, but you know what? That taught me right there. And a lot of people have said this. And you know that it was really nice. The way I did it is I just pulled myself up and started a new file. And that's what I always try to tell people: is no matter how devastating the loss is, just click that next file button, start a brand new guy, and be like, look, this is going to be my new adventure. This is the time it's going to happen. Yeah. And that's all you can do. And that really cemented to me that this is the greatest game I've ever played, because the emotions of losing that character were so visceral and so real, and it made me go, yeah, you know what? I died, but you know whose fault it was? It was mine 100%. I can't lay the blame at anybody else's feet. Yes, the wolf killed me, but if I had done things differently, I probably would have lived. And I made bad decisions, and it really nailed home to me about the decisions I make in this game are very important. Every single one could lead to my death if I choose the wrong thing. And from then, you know, Zach, you came into chat, and Zach, I got to tell you guys, a little behind the scenes, Zach is such a great guy. I mean, this guy comes into chat and then he messages me.
Yes,
and he's like,
let's
hey,
embarrass him more.
I'm making a video. I really like to use some of your clips, but I wanted to make sure it was okay with you to use them and stuff. He's always been so professional and so awesome about that. And I've told him many times, dude, use whatever you want of my content. It doesn't matter to me at all. I appreciate you even having me in some of your videos. But he's always, Zach, you're always so nice. You still even after I told you that multiple times, you always come in and go, hey, I want to make another video. I want to use some clips. You know, just want to make sure it's still okay with you. And I'm like, dude, you always can use my clips. I give you carte blanche to just do it anytime you want, because I love your content. Your content's great.
I think and one video where you appear and I didn't ask. I usually always ask.
Copyright claim, baby. But but that's the thing, is like, and then I met Hadrian and Tomasina. And for those of you who don't know, Tomasina lives very close to me. I've actually met Tomasina. She's great. I went and saw a play she was in. It was wonderful. Had a great time. But just lovely gal, no matter what. She's awesome. Aww. But I think the thing I love about the Long Dark community, and I think all of you probably can share, agree with this, is that how supportive we are of each other. I mean, guys like One and Only start playing, and we all start giving them, you know, we all talk about each other. We praise each other for what strengths and stuff we each have. And not all of us are as good as the game as others, and not all of us have the same strengths or anything as others. Some of us have certain weaknesses, but we all support each other. And I think that's the thing I really appreciate about the community is that somebody new comes in, and everybody from the streamers to the audience are just accepting of anybody who's willing to suffer through this game with us.
Yeah,
I mean, we really are, and it's like you've taken the first step, young Padawan, to becoming a long dark master, and that's all we can ask. But I mean, and part of my story too is that, you know, that's why my YouTube channel, I know I get a lot of, I've gotten messages about it before, but all of my stuff on YouTube is pretty much long format. I never intended when I started having my YouTube channel, have my videos on it, to ever have it be anything. It was like I said, it was a repository for my past stuff that I had, and it's kind of morphed into something different than that. But unlike Zach and Hadrian, who are amazing editors, I have zero talent and zero interest in editing things. I've made like a couple edited videos, and it's so frustrating to me that it takes me like 8 hours to make a 10-minute video, and I'm like, I just want to stream for those 8 hours. That's all.
Production quality.
I just want to play the game. I don't want to do this, and I have no aptitude for it either, because I'm old. Come on, I'm just old. It's just not. It's not in my wheelhouse. You know, I was there 3,000 years ago when the internet did not exist. So
your format works. It's fine. I mean, you don't have to change. Why you don't change it? Also, Tomasina invited me to play as well once, and I appreciate that. It's a bit far away, but
because he had said something about like having family in the area, and so like, I mean, hey, if you happen to be around, and so
that's a crazy story.
Adrian's always invited to.
I won't take up the time here telling about it. It's a crazy story I found. I do have family in where Tomasina lives, and haven't been to see them since I found out. But when I go, which will happen, then when the kids are older, probably, then we definitely need to meet up.
Well, you pretty much need to let me know when that's happening, because I can head over that direction, and
I live
that
in
would
the
be
area
more than worth it.
So if I'm still alive at that point, I'll come and hang out with you.
Yeah.
You just go into the bar, hey, with the 4 horse riders of Quiet Apocalypse, and like get out of the bar. It's some troopers.
You troublemakers need
Don't
to
you
leave.
know who we are?
We're the 4 horsemen, gosh dang it.
When you get jackets made and everything.
Get jackets made. That would be great. Well, which one do you represent? Who's the deaf and war? No.
Right.
Get titles for each other.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
Oh man, now I'm going to be thinking about that nonstop.
Yeah.
Just to piggyback off of the point that we're making about like the community's supportiveness, I think one of the things, Zach, you mentioned the break that I took from 2020 to 2020, early 2023 earlier. One of the coolest things that happened over that time, and it's a testament to the supportiveness of the community. Think about how many confident, small content creators there are who are perfectly happy with their smaller communities, and some are growing, some aren't. It doesn't matter, because there's just this sense of like, no, this is a great game to play, and this is a community I want to be a part of. And like the Long Dark has an outsized number of those. Just people who play the Long Dark as their main game, regardless of whether they're like trying to get a really big community or not. A number of those people, the reason I'm being specific about this, just emphatically say they're literally not going for that. They just wanted to be kind of a part of this that we've been talking about. Yeah. And it's very rare to see any kind of phenomenon like that. And I think it's because of what Hinterland has created in the community with it.
Yeah,
I agree.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And I just wrote in chat, is realized that we have hosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, we were saying before we knew this was going to happen. So.
Well, here's the main problem you did, guys, is you got 4 very chatty people together in the same room.
They have never been on a call together before.
Chatting for hours on end. I've had people actually literally come into my stream and go, "How do you talk for 6 hours at a stretch with almost no dead air at all?" And I'm like, I don't think about it. I really don't. It just happens.
Yeah.
Buckle up. Here we go.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, a lot of people have asked, you know, if I want to start like streaming, but I know nobody's going to watch, so what should I do? And I'm like, just basically when you're streaming, treat it like you're going to upload it to YouTube and narrate everything. Narrate everything you're doing. Talk about why you're doing something. Talk about where you're going, what you're doing right now. Just make it like almost like a podcast where people can listen to it and understand what's going on without even seeing the video. And then once you start getting chatters, then you can respond to them and talk to them. And eventually it will shift from you talking about the game 24/7 to talking to chatters most of the time and then talking about the game a little bit. But a lot of people have asked that. They're like, well, you know, what do I do when I want to start streaming? I'm like, the worst thing you can do is have somebody new come into your stream and all there is dead air.
Yeah.
Because the person will probably 80% of the time leave because they're like, well, nothing's going on in here. I don't want to hang around. But if you're chatting and you're talking, you might get their interest. You know,
you have to assume that people will be interested in what you're going to say. That sounds like arrogance. It doesn't have to be arrogant. You just have to go into it with the attitude that, okay, I am worth listening to. Because if you don't have that, people will not follow you. Well, that's just the way psychology is.
Especially if nobody knows who you are. Like I've always said, if Hadrian, if you ever came over and streamed on Twitch, you would immediately have a following. But that's because you already have a following on YouTube. You already have like a group of people that are used to coming and seeing you. But if you're a literal nobody, not that you're not worth anything, but if you're a literal nobody in the content creation world because you've never done any of it before, you're generally going to start to you're going to have 0 to 5 people in your chat for most of the first 6 months that you stream. That's just the way it is.
So I have a reputation, which is true. I sometimes stalk Twitch for people with low views. So especially if I have a night I can't sleep, baby's awake, whatever. Well, this was before I had children too, but I would go on Twitch and I would just see who has like 0 to 3 viewers. Yeah. And I would go on it, and then I would say, "Hi, how's the run going?" or whatever. And then, in all honesty, if there was no response, I would just leave. But if they say hi, then I say hi back, and I don't say like, "Hi, I'm a big content, come join me." I'll just say, "How's the game going?" or whatever, and then you introduce them slowly to community, and then they get to know that there's other people around, and slowly but surely you get more people involved, and they also feel more valued that someone said hi. And sometimes it's just it's one viewer, but it's fine because you're talking to someone and they might be experienced the game. Sometimes I come across people that have 0 views and they obviously know what they're doing. They're really good at the long dark. Yeah. But there's no one watching it. But you just get chatting to them and it's nice. You know, it's and they shouldn't be scared of it. I mean, some people like Perfect Trip, for example, he never talked. But that's because he had that play style, and that's fine. You don't have to. Well,
and Kimiota very rarely ever talked a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always been very quiet, but like Duck said in chat, you know, or not, or like Cass said in chat, that Kimmy's pretty quiet by comparison to y'all, but he earned it. Kimmy Yoda has earned it
several times over.
Every bit.
Yeah, just
he'd be as quiet as he
doesn't
wants.
even need. Just watch him with the bow. Like, geez, man.
Just watch and be enraptured.
That guy had shots that I could only dream of, and I don't think my shots are that horrible.
Yeah, he's crazy. I have one quickly, which was Shardul. I called him once. He came back because he was like the first one I really liked. And he was playing Grounded, and he pops up now and then, but he doesn't stream very often. And then I called him, and I just messaged him on chat, and I just said to him something like, "Shadu, I just wanted to say, you know, thank you for the inspiration, because now I'm a content creator, and you were the inspirations for it. I thought you were great," blah blah blah. And you can see him play, and he's walking, and he doesn't have the camera on. He usually does, but he didn't. He doesn't have the camera on, and he stops, and he obviously is reading the chat, and then he keeps walking, and he's saying, "Yeah, no worries, style." And then he's quiet. There's no further like elaboration, nothing. Just like 2 words, and then back to just walking.
Yeah, I have no experience with anybody ever messaging me in the middle of a stream, distracting me.
I've never seen anyone do that to you. Yeah.
Nobody's ever done that to me. But then again, I did block you for a while, so you know. I sort of deserved
But
it.
that was on your phone, not on your stream. To be fair.
Yeah, that was true.
Yeah.
That was true.
Yeah. Our communities never let us forget that. So on the topic, really quickly, well, maybe not really quickly, depending on how she where she takes this question. So I think, Atheenon, without knowing it, you teed up this question like brilliantly, because you were talking about like, you know, stuff for new creators. And if you're thinking about this, whether in the Long Dark or not, what's it like? And like what are some things you should do? Tomasina, it kind of strikes me that there's at least one thing about you that's like, that separates you from the rest of this group. That's like really noticeable in terms of just like your progression as a new content creator. We were talking about how like our origin stories, all 4 of us. And one thing about yours is when you go back, you know, it's funny. Normally when you say to someone or of someone, hey, you've like visibly aged, you're talking about gray hair and getting older. But in your case, it's like, no, you've like literally to some extent grown up. Like some of your earliest clips, like you're noticeably younger than you are now. What's it been like for you? What's it been like for you to be a new content creator, growing a channel in that like section of your life, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah. I see what you mean.
I told you this much on the
I
spot.
look old now.
Us old curmudgeons here just want to know what is it like to be young?
Yeah. Well, but yeah, like I know exactly what you mean. I see some of my old clips come up sometimes, and I'm like, oh, I guess I just have this baby face thing going on. Like I mean, yeah, if I started in 2019, 2020-ish. Oh no, I think, well, it might have been more like 2018. So yeah, I mean, I started in my mid-20s. I'm approaching my mid-30s now. I've had major life changes on top of it. Yeah, it's wild looking back. I think the main thing for me that I notice is just a change in confidence, which I see with I'm always in a growth mindset. I'm always like, I want to be better at this one thing I'm doing, and you know, I'm always trying to find ways to improve. And obviously the Long Dark as a game, as like the canvas for that has been huge. Even just like Zach mentioning the theta thing, like what a relic. That was for those of you who don't know, which I'm pretty sure is all of you, it was this brief moment in time where there was an alternative streaming platform that was based on a blockchain. So it was based on the Theta and NT Fuel cryptocurrency, which like cryptocurrency sounds like, you know, you're talking about a rotary phone as opposed to a smartphone, because like it's all about AI now. But yeah, that was like, okay, this is something that will really, like, you know, it's a way to diversify, and it's a new, you know, the platform was brand new. I was one of like 13 streamers at one point on it, so I was like really dumping a lot of my energy into it, and then it kind of, it's disappeared. So I guess, yeah, it's I'm always kind of looking at it that way. I will say one of the things that I thought about earlier, actually when you were talking about repeating yourself, or having I guess reminding yourself that you have to have this attitude that everyone wants to hear what you're going to say.
Yeah,
that's such a
huge
part.
It's okay to say things over and over.
Yeah, it will, and to take up space, like to not stop apologizing for like being visible is something that I've been in the process of learning in both spaces, in both acting and content creation. In fact, I had like a light bulb moment. I played Lady Macbeth recently, and I was giving one of the more famous speeches, and I was like feeling so nervous, like, oh my God, am I doing this right? Like, And I realized that I graduated acting school in 2015. I've been doing this for more than a decade, but for the first time I felt in myself, I was like, I'm trying to say these lines really quickly so that I can get off stage because I don't want to inconvenience people by being on stage. Like I know I just have this assumption that the audience is counting the seconds to when I'm gone. They just want to get rid of me. And I'm like, in what world do people pay money to go see a show and where that's the case, you know? And it was the moment when I realized, I was like, Lady Macbeth knows that everyone is hanging on her every word. She knows they want to see her there. And all of a sudden, everything, I mean, I get annoyed by actors who take, pauses you can drive a truck through, which was a huge part of that. But I was like, no, I'm gonna take a breath. I'm gonna say every word, and people are going to listen. And I think that's something that I've also been learning in content creation is like, you know what, if they don't want to hear it, they can click away. It's so easy. But also just having the quality of like what I am saying is worth hearing, it all of a sudden makes people lean in just a little bit more. They can sense that there's so much of this that is so almost imperceptible, which is kind of funny that you were able to perceive just kind of I've matured in ways over the course of my content journey.
So, I'll be honest with you, it's kind of hilarious because you're not the first person I'm guilty of this with, and I'm gonna have a laugh probably with you in the DMs and this other person later. Good. But I genuinely, like, when you said 25, I was like, you are fucking kidding me. Like, I thought it was considerably younger because of the difference in maturity. But still, the point stands. Like it's not that you look old; it's that like you look like someone who started almost as a child, and like you have become more mature noticeably in a way that like. I'm not saying that every Long Dark content creator is like older, but like I think it's skews that way.
Yeah.
So I was just curious, and I appreciate you humoring my silly question.
Well, and to think of it in perspective, she started 20 years younger than I started.
Yes, give us perspective, old man.
Just to give a little perspective there, it's like, damn, I feel old.
But I think part of it is also like I was talking about, even though he's my like main inspiration for streaming, he existed in that era of like, okay, you have to make as much noise as possible. Like you have to just basically be annoying. And so a lot of times I was trying to emulate that. Whereas with The Long Dark, I think we've all been able to just, if we even had that propensity, we've been able to just relax, like let the game, let the story do its work, let the world do its work, and the world building and the stories that we're telling, and have that confidence to just take up space in the content we're creating because it's ours. Like fuck you if you don't like it.
If you don't like it, you don't have to be here. You can go to another channel. I had somebody once comment on a YouTube video, "You talk too much." And I was like, thank you. That is the best comment ever. And yes, I will never stop talking. That's just how it is. Thor Newman said in chat, "The Long Dark does not seem like a game that youngsters would stream or watch," which I like. And Thor, I would agree that probably the average age of most Long Dark players and viewers is probably on average, I'd say at least 35 plus would probably be my guess. But like one of my nephews who's like early mid 20s now, is one of his favorite games, and he loves stuff like Dark Souls and stuff like that, but he loves The Long Dark. He's played hundreds of hours of it and absolutely loves it. So there is an audience for it. It is a much smaller audience though, and I think part of that has to come back to Tomasina's thing about as Michael Scott would say, loud noises, which is why I never was a big fan of people like, I wasn't a fan of a lot of content creators because all it was to me was loud noises. And I was just like, it's making me anxious just being in your stream because you're just yelling all the time, just random things, which I know some people, I guess like that. It just doesn't make me excited to watch them. I would rather listen to the dulcet tones of Hadrian narrating his journey through the Long Dark and than that. So,
yeah.
What dulcet tones?
Dulcet tones?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Of Hadrian.
Oh my God! He finally we've reached the point of chaos where Atheenon has used the fucking voice changer. Oh man! Okay. I need a minute.
Anyway, that's gonna take us back to our hosts who are here and they love us, but they've let us talk and babble for so long. I want to give them a chance to get back in on this. So.
Let's welcome our guests on this episode. Stephen and just where I welcome in.
They've survived us. That's why
Thank
it's
you for
called the
letting us
Survivor's
be
Corner.
here.
Yeah.
It's been an honor to be included in this group, and thank you for letting us be here.
Yep, it's been great. Just over here cracking up. So.
Hey, I once did a podcast with Zach, Tomasina, Hadrian, Atheenon, and it was great. I said so much stuff. So he just sort of took over as host.
I just want to say thank you to all of you for making the easiest podcast we've had to do this year.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Like I said, that's what you get for getting 4 talkative streamers and content creators into the same room.
Exactly.
One of us you can corral and control somewhat. 4 of us.
Yeah. It's just like, what do you think of it? What about you, Zach? No, it goes around in circles. We did that round table thing quite literally, just kind of like passing the balls.
Yes, absolutely.
I would like to go back and listen to what was the last thing Kirk and Jit said before we like just took over.
just took over the interview.
Should put that into chapters.
Whatever. Yeah. That was when I finished my PhD. Actually, my co-supervisor said the same thing, and when I graduated, he said he had a speech and said, "Congrats, Zach. That was the easiest supervision I ever did. I did nothing. Just sat and you did all the work. Because it sounded like that. You just take over." Yeah. We're talkative, but I mean, I'm only for people who basically narrate for a living, kind of. I think it's hard to avoid. I mean, I lecture as my job, so when I'm not talking on here, I'm talking to students. Which is, first day is actually tomorrow, so there's going to be more hours of talking.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was teaching a lot when I started in a similar, we were in a remarkably similar field for a bit there, Zach, but I went in a different direction. My job still, though, is very much talking oriented. It's just more individualized. So I absolutely feel you on that.
Yeah. I start my lecture saying, "Hello, fellow survivors. Welcome to cognitive psychology." And
and I'm very simple with me. Hey, boys and girls, how's it going today?
That's how I'll get into the field and start my lessons with "Sup, chat."
Sup, chat. Yeah.
Sup.
It'd
be really weird to lead a class with "Hello, Legion."
Hello, Legion. Yeah. Hello, Legion. That's a good one.
I'd get some looks.
I once used a clip from my videos in a lecture once. It was a lecture about sleep.
Boys and girls, this is what happens when.
Basically, my point was it's okay if you fall asleep, because the lectures were recorded. So it's okay if you fall asleep to the recordings. Just don't fall asleep in class. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Jake said in chat, making video of this and doing timestamps to be like, all right, intro, and I guess that's it.
Good evening, minions. That's a good one. Hi, I'm your teacher. You might know me from the Game to Long Talk.
Also, I have to say, I have a community that I tend to laugh with a lot on a very regular basis on Discord and other calls. I don't remember the last time that I had to lean away from the microphone because of just the belly laughter this many times in a single call.
Yeah.
So
I have a mute
props to y'all for that too.
Yeah, thank you. It's really fun.
I have a story to embarrass Zach. I want to see if we can get another belly laugh out of Hadrian. My boyfriend is in the room and he's going to be so mad at me for telling this story. But I, for a brief period, again going through major life phases, I was briefly a couple years ago in the dating scene and using dating apps, and I used Tinder, which is Never use it in the game, so may as well. Yeah. And I like matched with guys, and like we'd always like talk about, you know, I said I was a gamer and stuff. I'd get talking about content, like, oh, what game do you play? And I'd have to try to explain the Long Dark, and I always would explain it because they never really knew, you know, they were like playing Call of Duty or League of Legends. And until this one where I said, oh yeah, I play this game called The Long Dark. He's like, wait a minute. Oh, I love The Long Dark. I wonder if I've seen you. And we get talking about it, and eventually he goes, oh my God, that's why you look familiar. I've seen you in a Zaknafein video. I could not believe that.
Congratulations, you did it.
Yeah, matchmaking 101. It's from Zach. I just oh, that's amazing.
Part-time psychology professor, part-time matchmaker.
Yeah, well, did not work out, and it shan't. So.
And he's the one you went for, of course, because he played me. No, that's amazing though. That's the closest I've had to that, not in the dating, but at the office. Someone said like, "What games do you play?" And then one said, "I said I play The Long Dark." And one guy said, "Oh yeah, I play that game too." And the third guy said, "Isn't that game where you just make campfires and that's it?"
Yeah, if you suck at it.
Yeah, you suck at it, exactly. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing, Tomasina. Thank you for sharing that.
Making campfires all the time is our version of get good, scrub.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I will say, just as in the game, at least for me, because I'm a Fire Master purist, in real life, as in the game, Tinder is fucking useless. Just chuck it in the ocean and walk.
Yeah.
Chuck. Oh, that's good. I've once, I might have to go. I think the baby's waking up. I've once been recognized in like random chat in a game, and someone said, "Hey, I know that voice," and I was like, "I'm not sure where I've heard it from." And eventually, he said, "Could you say the line, 'Hello, fellow survivor'?" And I said, "I was like, yeah, no, it's you."
That's amazing.
I have to go, I think, because the baby's waking up.
Yeah.
So I think it's fine. It's been blast. So I think I'll just head out. I think just do it that.
I'm glad we got this much time with you, man. All things considered. And I hope you all feel
That's
better.
awesome. I hope you start feeling better, Zach. I hope your whole family starts feeling better.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for the chat. It was great. Let's do it again sometime.
It was awesome having you, Zach. Oh my gosh.
It was awesome having you too. Yeah, I think I'll just head out then. Thank you all for everything and stay awesome.
You as well.
Take care, brother.
Bye, Zach.
Thanks, Zach. And I was about ready to ask you guys because, you know, we talked about going slightly over an hour, and now we're slightly over 2.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Not that we're
happened.
counting. But if you guys want to wrap up and give us last thoughts and talk about anything you're doing and what have you, and then we'll go from there.
Well, I am into long form content, so you know this fits very well.
Yeah. I don't want to wrap up, but it's probably a reasonable idea.
Yeah.
It probably is. Yes, it is. We can always have fun later on.
We can always do this again, and I would love to invite you back for another repeat of this same exact thing. We'll just have to find a time.
I don't think chat would really like it. Like, I mean, there's been no activity this whole time. Like, I mean, I guess we could just, we gotta be confident. You know what? I should take my own advice. We need to just act like people want to listen to us and like want to be on this podcast. And like, it's okay if there's nothing going on in chat.
Oh, they just want us on a weekly basis. Fine. Oh, I guess we maybe can do that. You know?
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, what do you have going on, Hadrian? What do you got going on right now, buddy?
So
I know you got some XCOM 2, the long war. Come on, let's get on to that.
Okay, hold on. Listen now. Don't go putting words in my mouth, because that was a surprise stream, and that is something I want to do, either more streams or more content in the future. It's funny that I'm here, and I'm just glad that we've all had such a good time. It's not that I was worried about it, but I have played almost no Long Dark content on my channel this year. It's weird to be on a podcast with 4 with 3 of my fellow old school Long Dark content creators, and have not a lot of newer content to show. So like I'm so enjoying the fact that this has gone as well as it has. One thing that I'm doing in the Long Dark soon, and I think the most relevant thing to announce, I mean, there's so many good games coming out and stuff I'll be playing on my channel, but in terms of Long Dark, what I have coming up is I actually have not played, I haven't played episode 5, but I also haven't played episode 4.
Oh, wow.
So I am going to be doing on my Sunday streams a full playthrough, just vanilla style. Nothing, I don't have any special plans to mix it up in any way, because for my community, the last time that I played it, I think I've played episodes 1 through 3, or maybe 1 and 2. I hear someone in chat will have to tell me if I did a Let's Play of episode 3. I don't remember if I did. Maybe I did. But like, I certainly remember doing 1 and 2, but I have not done any content, nor have I actually played myself episode 4 or 5. And so my next Sunday stream, as soon as I'm done with Final Fantasy VIII, which I'm 1 or 2 streams away from the end of that, will be a full playthrough, some of which I played before and some of which I have not, from the perspective of one of the original Long Dark like tutorial and just new player channels. So I'm really looking forward to diving back in with that. And then as far as episodic content, that will be something that I bring back once episodic content feels bringable in general, which I think is quite close. But I'm trying not to make more promises than I can keep at the moment. So that's what I've got on the docket. Tomasina, what about you?
Oh gosh, there's a dog racket happening.
Clearly.
It was just like this sudden like hoof beats and a stampede.
Horsemen are here.
What I've been working on for the most part, I get to finally take a little break from it. I mentioned it a little bit, but that the TLD challenges website we've talked about a little bit on this podcast. Chef Maria and Big Fish have been working on and done a fantastic job, basically just facilitating these community created and community driven challenges and tournaments. The most recent, the one that's active right now is Dance with the Darkwalker, which I fell immediately in love with because it was something I envisioned when the Darkwalker challenge first came out. And so during the Halloween event, I was like, you know, there's a cap on how long you can survive because of the fog, and then, you know, you have to run away from him. I'm like, you know, most people immediately kind of lean towards the like speed run. Like, obviously this is meant to be speed run and see how fast I can do it. But I was like, I want to do the opposite. I want to outlast everything as much as I possibly can. I want to see exactly how much survival time I could squeeze out of this. And what Fiat Spider has come up with is a tournament to do exactly that, called Dance with the Darkwalker. And just the winner is who survives the absolute longest. And I discovered something about the fog timers and how interiors are not actually connected to their parent regions. So, you know, once one region is fogged up completely, that doesn't mean that the trailer outside of the dam is fogged up, that kind of thing. So I did some playtesting, some calculations, and I managed to finally put theory into practice and pull off a 20 hours and 18-minute run.
Nice.
Surviving the Darkwalker, and I'm currently in the lead on the website, so that's what I've been working on. And if anyone feels like topping me, I guess I'll be going back to that. Otherwise, I'll be returning probably very soon, returning to my 500 Days of Interloper, which has probably been on like has it been more than 2 years now? It's been on hiatus pretty much since 2024. So I'm excited to get back to that, and we'll see.
Very cool. Very, very
Atheenon,
cool.
bring us home.
For myself, for those of you who don't know, I've been having some health issues lately, so I haven't been streaming as much. I'm going and seeing a doctor later this month, and hopefully they can tell me how much time I have left, which would be nice to know. But anyway, regardless of that, you know, well, that's our podcast. Good night, everyone. Podcast. See y'all later. But no, on a serious note, right now I am working through my 50 days in every zone challenge, where we've systematically gone from zone to zone, spent 50 days in it, then moved on to another zone, spent 50 days in it, moved on. We're finally in our final zone, Sundered Pass. After that, we'll be at about 780 days, 90 days in the run, and we're going to be going for 1,000 days. And we're also going to be going for about 5 or 6 achievements that I can still accomplish in this run. I do need to go back and play Chapter 5 because due to them wanting to push me through a narrative, I missed a few of the achievements that you can get from Chapter 5 that are timed that you know, I have to go back now and play that. So we're going to go back and play that and have some fun with it and just kind of goof around with it and we'll meme on it a little bit. And then I also would like to do a little bit more of some other games as well. I've been playing a little bit of Human Host, which has been a lot of fun. It's kind of a zombie survival game. I got a few other things. Medieval Dynasty I've been getting back into as well, which has been really fun. They've got some beautiful updates for the game. But Long Dark is definitely where my heart's at. I always come back to it. You know, it's one of those where I may go, well, I'm gonna play some other stuff for a little while, but nothing ever satisfies that itch like the Long Dark does. It really does not. But
no, sir.
That's where I'm going right now. Is I'm streaming when I can. Even sitting this long, my leg is really I can feel it starting to cramp up. So I'm gonna have to go as well here pretty quick. So, but yeah. I appreciate everything you do here on the Survivor's Corner. Thank you so much for having Hadrian, Tomasina, Zaknafein, I have to say it right, and myself today. It's been awesome. It's been awesome to have this conversation with them. And sorry that we hijacked your podcast a little bit.
That's quite all right.
I'm not sorry.
It's completely our honor for you guys to be here. A little bit of context for you guys when you were asking each other, how did you get started with streaming? Well, it was the 4 of you that helped get Jitwire and I started. So, by all means, it's a very great honor to have you guys here and take over the podcast.
The honor is all ours. Thank you for doing what you do for the community.
It's awesome to have people like yourself like start making channels like the Survivor's Corner where, you know, creators can meet, talk about stuff. You can have guests on that give their points of view on the game because everybody has their own take on the Long Dark. There's like I've always said, there's no right or wrong way to play the Long Dark. The only wrong way to play the Long Dark is not play the Long Dark. As long as you're surviving for one more day, you're playing it correctly. And so it's great to hear all these different views, these different points of view on how to survive for a long period of time or to do certain things, or like Tomasina's, you know, Dark Walker fun that she's having right now, which I'm like, nope, I'm good. I'm good. It's too much stress. That's too much stress for my blood pressure. So, you know, it's wonderful to have your channel around, and I've enjoyed quite a few of your videos, especially the one where you interviewed Raph, which was awesome. And you know, and I wish you guys all the best. I hope everybody who's in here right now has dropped a like and a subscription for the Survivor's Corner. You got to make sure to, you know, give those little.
They definitely have not dropped a like.
Yeah, we're at 73 likes. So you guys need to, if you've not dropped the like yet on it, definitely do. We're 77 now, so make sure you drop that like on it.
It's not refreshing for me. Okay, I was serious, but that's just because my YouTube is being a jerk. Apparently, people have been doing their job. I apologize for calling out chat when it was not necessary. I was sitting here going, how have only 7 people liked this stream? What is happening?
You're surviving now, a magic tree, Beatlesby? Yes. Always remember, boys and girls, the magic tree in the hidden cave. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah, and kind of getting back to what you were talking about with talking to different people and stuff, that has been like one of the great, amazing things that evolved with when we got this started. At first, we didn't think we weren't going to do this at all with talking to everybody, and it kind of evolved into that. And that's, I think, one of the biggest takeaways that I think Jitwire can agree is that it's almost been a fun event, because when you get these people on, it's like, they get to be giddy about talking about the Long Dark, because a lot of times they're talking to chat in kind of a one-sided conversation with, you know, obviously they're talking a little bit, but it's not the same way as like sitting around the water cooler and talking about it. And so we've noticed that every time we've had people in, it's kind of like you're sitting around the couch and you're talking about this warm, fuzzy thing that you love to death. and it's fun to share it with everybody. And so that's been the greatest joy that we pulled away from this over the year. And what we've been doing this since December of 24. You know, that we've managed to pull off here is that everybody that's come on is just, you know, at first they were either nervous or they weren't sure about it, and then it's like, this was so much fun and I enjoyed talking and So so we have learned a lot on that front, and we can't say thank you enough to the community and to you guys and everything for supporting us and all that stuff. So I mean, just thank you again for the time, and I'll give Jitwire a chance to say something here because she's been more quiet than me.
Jit.
And she continues to be quiet.
And she's like, I don't want to talk. They've talked too much.
Crickets. Oh no!
It was actually kind of funny earlier because she was in chat, like while when things were really getting going, and she's like, "Oh, yep, we've kicked the hosts out. They're now just hanging out in chat."
Put her on the hot seat. Oh, she just sent me a message. She's not sure, but her sound went off. So,
oh no.
So I'll have to speak. You'll have to speak for her and say, I'm sure she's just as grateful as I am for y'all coming in and finding time. And Zach is saying this is the longest episode ever, and I think it's got to be close.
Zach's microphone got so tired of us talking that it booted her out.
Yeah,
her system was like, "You're not going to get a word in edgewise, so I'm just going to boot you off." Yeah.
It's coin operated. Wow. She ran out of dimes.
We went too long. It was like, if you'd like to talk and chat, please deposit one more quarter. Yeah, I'm that old, okay? I'm that old. Most of you probably don't even know what that relates to. I am that old.
Yeah, I was appreciative that Atheenon got that joke.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know. I remember when it went from a dime to a quarter. I was pissed. It was like, you're charging me a whole quarter for my phone call now?
Yeah.
Oh, my. Just the
greed. You know you're old when you can remember a rotary phone and a party line. So...
Well, you know, the other thing that dimes and quarters were used for back then, there was certain feminine products that people would need in certain places that you could get for those as well. And so when somebody asked you for a quarter, you're kind of like sus about it. You're like, what do you need this quarter for? Yeah.
High notes.
I have nothing to say to that.
Hadrian, you were not even
have no further comment.
Great to feel old some days. But
there you go, Zach is saying this is a paid call from Tomasina. Do you accept the charges?
But see, it was a collect call.
Yeah, it was a collect call. Yeah,
it was a collect call.
Exactly.
And we got really smart about it. We'd be like, this is a collect call from Mom. I'm over at Thomas's house. Would you like to accept the charges? And then your mom would go, no. And then she'd know you're at Thomas's house. We got smart about it.
You could cheat.
Blackrock Penitentiary.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
But awesome. I'm so glad we could be here. Thank you again, you guys, for having us on. I really do appreciate it, and it's just been a lot of fun to be talking with you guys and with the other three panelists here. Makes me miss all you guys again. So.
Oh. You brought
us back together. We will remind you guys in a few months, get closer to the holidays, to set aside, 4 or 5 hours to do another podcast.
Yep. Hey, maybe at least 6 or 7.
Maybe around Halloween, when hopefully they'll put out some seasonal content, which would be
that'd be so great.
Could you imagine if 4 Days of Night actually came back and was better without the blizzard on the 4th day? That would be so awesome. That'd be so amazing. And by the way, I'm still bitter about my 2018 4 Days of Night badges. Anyway.
Couldn't tell. Wasn't picking up on that at all.
There was no bitter in your voice at all.
Yeah, no resentment whatsoever.
All right. Well, seeing how
love
Jitwire isn't going to be able to do the sign off, I've actually got her recorded to do the sign off. So, hey, to everybody that's listening, thank you very much for being here with us. Whether you're listening to the live or the recording, absolutely amazing podcast having all four of you on. Thank you so much again. And with that, I'm going to let Jitwire lead us out and completely thank you. Thank you, thank you, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you all so very much for joining us, whether it was live or you're watching the recording. We really appreciate it, and we hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.